Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today we will be playing in the Angel Cup. We'll probably get knocked out in the first or second round. We do play a lot worse on stream, and we don't play that great in general already. So the odds are pretty stacked against us, and we're not playing like super meta. I guess you could say we're playing meta. We're just going to play the same deck we played in Cloudy's tournament last night, because I've been very busy this morning and I couldn't be asked to pick another deck. So that is basically what we're going with. So once we have taken part in that, once we get knocked out, we'll be commentating the rest of it as per usual. And then we're going to be doing a little tier list update, because I've been wanting to do a tier list video update for a long time, but we have been unable to get one out because every time I go ahead and start recording it, it's like, oh, next day, here's some new leaks, go do a video on that. Or it's like, oh, here's a new Zuijo, look, he's coming, so we're going to talk about this now. Or one time when I was like, okay, this will be the perfect day, they just decided, here's Gakuto's new cards in a deck build box. So every time we've tried to put out a tier list update, something's gotten in the way. So, theoretically, either we'll get the video out tomorrow after updating the tier list today, or we'll will another leak into existence and then we'll take a video on that. So either way, we're kind of win-win. But let's see who we've got in the chat. We have Dragzin with the first. Welcome on in. We have Ninjetti Ursus, who no doubt is going to be taking part in the tournament. Let's take a quick gander and see if he has signed up. He has. So we'll see if Ursus can beat the curse and make it past round one. I mean, let's be honest, we probably won't. So we're going to be cheering for any of our other Western brothers. Not that we have anything against the Japanese, it's just nice to take sides. Then we have Beam, welcome on in. We have Gunkin Suship Shari. I don't know why that one took a couple of times to get out, but welcome on in. We have Kuova, happy jalapeno, everyone. And is that Giorfio? We have a rare guest today from Giorfio and Parko. We got all the fangirls in today. Welcome on everybody. We have Parko saying, Tomato, we playing zombie aggro. Ooh, no. I mean, we kind of already spoke about what we're playing. But no, we're not playing zombie aggro. I do like the zombie cards in Rush. It would be nice if we could get some more of the zombie cards. And maybe a decent zombie skill. Because zombie is another one of those archetypes that's like really just let down by just Konami not giving it any support whatsoever. Tomato's playing what scares him most, Magnum Overlord. I mean, Magnum Overlord is annoying, but it kind of disappeared on its own for the most part. Like, it creeps up every now and then. But I think right now it's just like, why would you play Overlord when Metarian exists, right? Like, it does exactly the same thing, but it's better. Is there even a zombie deck of Rush? There were like 3 cards, not really a deck. Yeah, basically, there was a couple of players that did try to make it work as playing like in aggro piles, and that was kind of it. So it was like Dragius plus zombies, call it a day. We did do a video on it, and it was fun. Common Rush L. Actually, there are like 5 zombie cards. Giorfio near Nerd Emoji. Well. So, we have a couple of minutes until the tournament's going to kick off. I guess we'll go and take a look at who's signed up. So, this is not the best view. Can we change this? Can we sort this out? What about this one? That's better. So, we have big name. Big name, we have Mutant. We have Prisoner Tomato, Rin. There's us. We have Gozu, we have Giorfio signed up, that's exciting. We have Ursus, this is Catpaw, I think Nekohand, I think his name is. This is Ra, this is Guilty Gear Person, whose name always escapes us. We have Duan signed up, we have Squid signed up, or Ika. So quite a few familiar faces. It's actually quite a small turnout, only 21 people signed up. A big part of that might be because of daylight savings. So, I know some of the American players might not be signing up. We have Gengen's just signed up. Yeah, we're missing quite a few. Looks like it's going to be quite a small tournament. But as long as it's at least 16 players, that is kind of the minimum that we want. Like, 16 is the smallest tournament that we accept. One of these days, Parko will join. Well, why aren't you joining today, Parko? You can't have anything important, like college or anything like that. Surely not. Right, so we got to try and keep ahead and see when our match gets posted so we don't keep our lovely opponent waiting. We still have a minute before it's actually supposed to start, but you never know. Usually it starts a little bit after when it's supposed to start, like a minute or two. But you always want to stay on top of it just in case. College. Well, just don't do college. Listen, right? As someone that's been through college. College, for me... Alright, so again, different countries. Probably studying different subjects, right? College for me was a breeze, right? It was so unbelievably free. It was just go in, show up, yeah, do what you've got to do, which didn't take too long for me, and then just like walk out. And it was like the freest like qualification I've ever gotten. Now, university, that was a bit of a step up, but the very first year of university was just as free. Everything after that first year, though, that got kind of spooky. Speaking of spooky, it is Halloween today. I don't know if anyone does anything fancy for Halloween. Don't really do much here. Like, I'll usually watch Nightmare Before Christmas just because I'm a big, like, Tim Burton fanboy. I've always loved that film since I was a kid. So that's kind of my tradition, is I'll just watch that movie. But for the most part, it'll just be, like, avoiding trick-or-treaters. That's generally my Halloween tradition. Alright, looks like pairings have been posted, and we are going to be against Gengen in the first round. Ooh. So we'll hit a refresh on this. We'll go ahead and grab our message. Oh, we also haven't actually made a room yet. We should probably go ahead and do that. Oh, he's posted a message to us first before we could even get there. That's what he says. He says, I look forward to competing with you. Now, has he posted a room, or am I making a room? That's what I want to know right now. I'm going to go ahead and start making a room. And if he posts a room code, I will just accept his. Because he spoke first. And in my mind, that gives him priority. Right, yeah, he's posted the room code. Okay. So we will drop out of this, go in to join his room, and then we'll send him a message, because that keeps him waiting the smallest amount of time. Do that, do that. Then we'll go over here. We'll sign up to this. And then we can get rid of this so you can see what's going on. And we'll challenge and see what happens in game 1. I think most countries, colleges like uni in the UK, where I am at least, there's no difference. Oh, I'm going to face the winner of your match. Ooh. Well, we're probably not going to have a very good run then. We're probably going to lose this game, to be honest. Especially since we are, by the looks of it, against Light Galaxy, which is probably our deck's worst matchup. But let's see what we can do here. We did manage to beat 3 Light Galaxy decks yesterday, even though it was our worst matchup. So we might be okay. We'll have to wait and see. Japanese are always so fast with the rooms. So usually I make the room first. So maybe I'm just too quick. Noodle Sesso. Yeah, this is the kind of meme list, which is Noodles X Metarium. Oh, this is like the worst possible start. Especially against this deck. This is like the brickiest of the bricks. I mean, I don't think we can leave 2 bosses in hand. I think we've probably already lost. Like, looking at this hand, like, we only play 2 bosses and we've drawn them both. So this is probably game over already. We might even be dead next turn. Like, if he just... We know these 2 are going to be Light Galaxy monsters. So he's going to discard 1, search for either of his 2 spells. If he's already got the other one, if he's drawn into it as one of the 3 cards, or that back row is the same thing, we're just so cooked. We are so cooked. Bro, going to meet your charge you for game. I mean, yeah, I've drawn the worst possible hand this deck can produce. This was never going to go well for us, unfortunately. Not when we open like this. And we're going to lose our only card that we could possibly maintain. Another secret... I mean, we're not dead. He needs one of these last 2 cards to be Meteor Charge for us to actually be dead. And there it is. I mean, like we said, this is our worst matchup, and we drew like the worst possible hand. So yeah, this might be a very short tournament. We actually did make top 4 with this deck yesterday, but we didn't draw that badly. Well, we did draw that badly in our very last game. All right, we won the coin toss, which is still good. We'd always still rather win the coin toss. Alas, this hand is not perfect, but, you know, you can't always expect perfect. We just have to see what we can do with it. How did you get top 4? This deck, if it doesn't brick, the deck can do quite cool shit. The thing is, this deck is built to beat Matarion, right? This is in the same way that people play, you know, like, Fusion Deal, and they play so they can just use Ancient Gear Golem because Ancient Gear Golem is good into Matarion, that sort of mentality. This deck is pretty good against exactly Matarion, because they don't tend to apply too much pressure early unless they draw a really, like, god hand, and then you're able to apply pressure with your noodles as well as the actual Matarion cards themselves. So, like, it's like, not awful. Unfortunately, we are playing 0 defense boss monster, so we're gonna get absolutely clocked anyway. And could you please stop opening like these god hands? Okay, at least he hasn't like changed any of our guys to attack. If he opened Meet Your Charge as well, we were so cooked, and we got to keep the Fyaru, which is like the least important card. So we can activate that to get him back, go for the double draw. That's probably gonna be the line here. So we're going to go Reincarnation. We're just going to discard. We're going to grab back the reactor. Summon out the reactor. Activate the effect. Put this back. Draw 2. Oh, that's pretty bad. Christ. Dr. Alex subscribed for 14 months. Thank you so much, Alex. Really do appreciate it. Oh, I'm in a bit of a sticky situation here, so you're going to have to forgive me if I'm not super emotive right now. Alright, we will tribute both. We're going to summon this bad boy. Then we're going to summon the Fyaru.
The underscore
We'll activate
Dr.
extra
Alex
spice.
just
We probably should have used the face down one in case
months.
we... Yeah, we knew that. As we were doing it, I was like, this is not the correct way to do this. And we just did not identify it in time. So... Oh, man, we screwed that over so bad. Like, that was such a bad play. How do we want to rectify this? Keeping that in hand doesn't really do anything for me. I guess we're just going to do this. Yeah, we basically, like, had, like, the perfect setup, and we just weren't concentrating. We were too busy looking at the, Oh, do not tell me. Oh, come on, brother. Now, to be fair, that's because we fucked up, right? I'm gonna blame Dr. Alex for that one. We got distracted. We went and muted our music. We weren't fully paying attention. Bruh. That might just be game. That might just be a game-ending misplay. Although, to be fair, bro had to open double Universal Storm and Widespread to, like, clear all of our shit. So, like, we did fuck up. That is on us. That is on us. But he also did still open absolutely cracked. Ah, this is just really not going our way. Well, it wasn't the exact worst time. Light was in your eyes, bro. Open, cracked. Weather isn't quite right. Well, it is true. It is true. Like, if he didn't open cracked, obviously we wouldn't be in such a bad spot. Oh. All right. Well, we have like one option here. Did we just activate the effect in case we mill it? Have we shuffled the deck yet? I don't think we've actually shuffled. No, we haven't shuffled the deck at all, so there's no point in trying to just luck into the mill. So we will just tribute both. Summon out the bad boy, activate the effect. And also, this hand is another real garbage fucking hand we've drawn. I don't think a single draw is going to get us out of this. I think we are just cooked. I mean, there's a slim chance, right? I mean, this outs it on its own, so I guess we hit it. Because this way he needs to get access to another thingy. Also, he knows this is nothing, but he'd have a 50-50 to hit our last, and he's only got one copy of Universal Storm left, so he has to get lucky enough to draw his last copy, and then he has to win a 50-50. That's how we lose the game. If he doesn't do that, we're still okay. What we really want, yeah, we want him to use Meteor Charge, because if he runs that into a negate attack, the downside is he still has 2 Secret Order and 2 Meteor Charges left, so he still has plenty of gas left. I mean, this is so frustrating. I mean, we just die, right? We just die. We don't have enough cards in deck to turn this on. We have 2 copies of Star Restart left in the deck that we're just not drawing into. What's the play? We set these 2, turn this back to attack, swing. He activates Star Restart. Not Star Restart. He activates, thingy. Attacks over this. We take... So what is even our win con now? We just pray? I mean... If he gets... It doesn't really matter. He needs... If he changes this to defense and pierces over it, then we're not dead from just that. So I think we just do this. So, if he has 1 copy of Meteor Charge, he can get in for a max of 32. Because he'd have to change this to defense and then attack over it. Alternatively, he gives this piercing, attacks over this for 800, which puts us down to 26. Then attacks over this and we take 18. So we'd still live. So he needs Tribute to the Doomed or 2 Meteor Charges. That's how we lose. If he doesn't get those, we do technically live. So the only issue is him getting 2 Meteor Charge shouldn't be that difficult, because any level 7 normal in his deck is a Meteor Charge copy as well. So he only has to naturally draw 1. Oh. Now that does change things. If he has Meteor Charge. Because now he can Meteor Charge this, for example. Swing over, change one of these to attack, and attack over it. We take 23, and then if he summons, let's say, a 25. Or another 23. So he had the chance to discard. He chose not to. What does that tell me? He's got absolutely everything he ever needs. Do we still have a... No, we've got the other extra choices in the graveyard already. It all comes down to how well he drew. That's literally what this game comes down to now. We have no agency in this game. This is entirely up to him. That's fine. But if he has... Yeah, let's get him. Rip. There's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing we could do. We made that one misplay that cost us, like, the entire thing. Ah, well. Ah, well. It just means we get to commentate. And you know us, we love commentating. Ah, I wonder how that would have gone if we didn't punt it. If we didn't punt it, I wonder how that would have gone. It's a shame as well. I mean, to be fair, both games, he opened absolutely cracked. Like, we couldn't really do anything about that. Even if we hadn't made that mistake, I still don't actually think we win that game. I think there's just such a high chance that we lose that game anyway. You think we would have won the game 2 100%? I do not. I think there's a chance we win game 2. But, like, if you saw the series of events that happened, he still was able to keep getting his cards back. Even if we had successfully done that, he still has access to 2 copies of Secret Order and still had all 3 copies of Meteor Charge. Like, I think he easily picks our board apart. We had no way to protect Extra Spice. He easily just outs the fusion. And then after that, we never had a chance to make another fusion. So he just activates the... He just brings out his guy, clears our whole board, and then we just don't make another board for the rest of the game. So I don't think we actually win that either way. Alright, let us go and spectate the remaining games and see what's going on. We're going to do this, then we will turn this off. And we will take a peek and see what is going on here. So this is Neko Hand versus this guy. Let's see if we can translate on... Oh, no, we can't on this. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I think if you hadn't misplayed and summoned the Ashura, I don't think it'd last long enough. Yeah, but I think everyone's underestimating what the Light Galaxy deck can do. Again, he clears our board on the following turn, and then we never had the opportunity to make another board. So I don't think it matters. Like, we would have been able to, like, last a little bit longer, probably. But, again, that board we made was still getting broken either way. There was nothing we could do about that. So what are we looking at here? Was that game over since one guy just left the table? So that looked like the Blasters Inferno deck playing against... God, what even was the other deck? It was like, it was Matarian, but it wasn't using a Legendary Duelist skill. It was using a Archive skill. So what else have we got going on? So there was a quick 2-0. So yeah, Neko Hand got quickly 2-0'd by the Blasters Inferno list. Ursus is currently playing his game. Rin quickly 2-0'd his opponent. Obviously, we quickly got 2-0'd. Dwan is still playing his game. Prisoner Tomato just got 2-1'd. So Prisoner Tomato is quite an interesting one because they keep winning the point battles. But all they're doing in point battles is spamming Light Galaxy, which... if anyone like knows how Light Galaxy plays, is the perfect point battle deck. And we keep seeing them doing terribly in tournaments. So it seems like Prisoner Tomato has worked out how to win point battles by rushing down your opponent really, really quickly with Light Galaxy, and cannot translate that into tournament wins. So now the question is, which game are they going to be spectating? Fingers crossed they pick a good one. There's like, I think there's like 3 games that I don't care who wins them. And I bet we're going to end up spectating one of them. Actually, I don't think there is a single game on here I don't like. I think I'd be quite happy to watch any of these. Because one of them's got Dwan, one of them's got Giorfio, one of them's got Rin, one of them's got Ursus, one of them's got Ra, one of them's got Muton, and one of them's got Gozu in it. So like, I feel like no matter what, there's going to be something interesting to watch. Come on, Apaki. What are we going to spectate? Here we go. We got the Giorfio Gengen game. Okay. So, if we go by Giorfio's previous track record, I would assume Ooh, okay, so we're not playing the Worm deck. That's obviously what Jorfia played last in a tournament. But we are playing an Archive skill. So this could be Heroes. This could be Sidra. There's a lot of different things this could be. Game 2, my opponent draws NA. Game 3, my opponent draws NA and Slime turn 1. What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, that happens, one, unfortunately. Like, we got taken out because our opponent drew Widespread turn 1, and then... Wow, was it turn 1? I'm trying to remember now. It was... It can't have been turn 1, surely. Okay, so Jorfio is on the Heroes. Let's see if Jorfio can get Heroes back on the spreadsheet. Heroes have not had a spot on the spreadsheet for ages because they are just not performing well in tournaments. This is quite a small tournament, so getting to top 8 should not be too difficult. So Jorfio only actually has to win this one game to make top 8 and put them back on the spreadsheet. This is why we play Fire Dragons. Well, Fire Dragons is unironically, like, not performing too badly. Like, it's not awful. Like, it's not... I don't want to, like, sing its praises and be like, oh, tier 1. But, like, it's okay. I think it's a solid, like, tier 3 deck. I went all in both cases. Game 3, I sniped Slime, but you stopped me with NA. I mean, yeah, if your opponent's got Slime and NA and you're not playing exactly a fusion deck, yeah, you'll get clapped, right? There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, I think that's a lot of what people don't like about the meta right now, is because it does feel a little bit like, do you get to keep your negate attack? Yes. Okay, your chances of winning have just gone up like 80%. No. Okay, your chances of winning have just gone down 80%, right? It's so awkward. Yeah, I was playing it yesterday, and God, it felt nice, low-key. It's one of those things where you'll have a few games on it where you will just not find anything, right? You'll draw hands that are like okay, but you just never find like Dragonic Pressure, you never find Volcano Dragon, and then you're just like, my deck doesn't do anything. But then you'll play another game and you'll just find those cards, and you'll just be like, wipe the board, bring back Treasure Dragon, draw a card, bring out like 2 Volcano Dragons, you know, pop my opponent's back row, GG, and it just feels incredible. It's one of those things where it's because the card you search is still good, right? Popping back row is still really nice. But it's not an integral combo piece, right? What you really want is to search Volcano Dragon or search Dragonic Pressure. Okay, so we're seeing Gengen put up... I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Against us, Gengen opened the absolute nuts both times. Against Jorfio, the end board is 2 Transam Linak and Harvey. Like, what? Where's the God Luck he had against us? And of course he had TCB and Sword Dancer combo next turn. I mean, every Metarian player will always just draw that combo without fail. That's just the Metarian way. And then they'll complain because they'll play like 6 ladder games, and in one of the 6 ladder games they didn't find fusions. They'll be like, but the deck's bad. I didn't find fusion. You can't do anything if you don't find fusion. And it's like, shut up, Metarian player. My opponent opened NA and Slime. Set turn 1. Turn 3, I hit Pressure into 2 Secret Order. That's the thing. If you draw hands like that, it's so good because nothing beats it. You have like double back row pop, which is like pretty damn good, as well as wipe the board, so it doesn't matter what board you've got, I'm getting through either way. And you can just summon like an easy 6k attack onto the board. Like, it's so nuts when you get the God Hands. But it's one of those things, again, you don't get the God Hands. Because the other thing is, you can't always rely that you're going to see double Secret Order and that you're going to have double Volcano in rotation. So you kind of have to play the 1500 beaters just to be that extra little push. Because if you have a hand of, let's say, 5 cards, and we have our, you know, all of our spell cards face down already, we activate Pressure, discard 3, bring back, let's say, you know, Treasure Dragon, which gets you another draw. We still only have 3 cards in hand. So chances are we can probably get out like 1 Volcano at 3000. And then from those last 3, we really want to see like 2 1500 attackers. And that'll get you that last little push. Of course, they don't actually have to be 15s because we have the skill as well to boost by like an extra 600. But you get the point. We want guys with attack. And the downside there is that guys with attack don't tend to have high defense, which means it gets you very vulnerable to, unfortunately, the Light Galaxy deck. I mean, as we've just seen here. Gengen once again just summons a big board, gets 3 back row, and just gets to absolutely demolish. Yeah, I play Twin Edge. Twin Edge is a weird one for me in that deck, just because it's very, I suppose on one hand, Twin Edge is good because you can discard a spell card or a trap card to use its effect. So if you don't draw double monster, it does work out quite well. On the other hand, it only represents 2,000 damage. So if your opponent's on 6k and you do combo, and you only have 1 Secret Order, you go 36 and then an extra 2,000 with Twin Edge. Which is just, unfortunately, not enough. Because, wait, can you boost Twin Edge? You can't boost Twin Edge with the Blaster's Inferno, right? I'm pretty sure you can't. I'm pretty sure it's only the level 5 and higher you can boost with it. Hey, Deku! Welcome on in. You're watching us spectate Gengen versus Giorfio, Light Galaxy versus Elemental Heroes, and Light Galaxy is up a game. So we discard Foot Titan. Now, presumably, we're going to search Secret Order, but if we already have Order, we could quite happily search the other. Right, we are going to search the Order. Hello, Tomatus. Welcome on in, Mellows. So we're going to bring back the Foot Titan. We're going to activate Universal Storm, and we do hit Ghost Cyclone. That's really not what we want to be hitting. So that was a big whiff. We've got double Transam. We are just going to swing. We know the Transams can clear, unless, for whatever reason, there's like, I don't know, Magician's Valkyria. I won a tournament with Metarian yesterday, so I won't play tourneys until we get a new meta. I mean, that's entirely up to you, Deku. I, personally, what I do is if I win a tournament, I stop playing that deck. Or if I make, like, top 2, usually. Like, even if I get, like, a runner-up, I'll be like, okay, I'm done with this deck for this meta, but I'll just play something else. Now, I remember the first time I took the Mirror Innovator Light Galaxy deck to a tournament, I won the tournament, and then I just never played that deck again. I was just like, now we're done. Okay, get the Burst Dinatrix off of the Argent. Where are we going from here, Giorfio? What is the hand? So we always have access to Fusion. Oh, we're setting. So one of the nice things about the Elemental Hero cards is most of the cards that you play in this deck do actually have like 1,000 defense. So like piercing doesn't hurt you quite as much. This hero player is rubbish at excavating. Unfortunately, that is just part of the game, right? You can only really influence it with Avian Spell Tactics. So if your Avian Spell Tactics isn't online, or your opponent doesn't have back row for you to hit, or you don't have the cards in the graveyard, you're just completely at the whim of the RNG. But for anyone that doesn't know, Giorfio on the top was a Worlds competitor. A very, very strong Rush player. Obviously, also a very, very strong Speed player. But obviously, we're talking about Rush right now, so Giorfio, arguably, in fact, almost certainly in this matchup, playing the weaker of the two decks. So the odds are a little bit stacked against him. 5 cards in Gengen's hand. What has Gengen drawn? 3 back row for Giorfio. There is a high chance that one of them is the fusion that we just set to Smokescreen. But this could be a mind game. So on one hand, you set 2 cards at the same time, your opponent knows you have a fusion, so they might not want to snipe one of the 2 sets. On the other hand, it's like, well, if you're going to Smokescreen set, chances are you want to protect the other one, so that other one might be worth hitting. So it's like, what you could do is Smokescreen set 2 cards you don't care about, and then get your opponent to overthink the situation. But I think statistically, you'd always just rather hit the one that you definitely know isn't fusion. So we have double Foot Titan right now. Not exactly the most terrifying board. Double 2300 vanilla. Summon out the Siesta Tarot, and we're going to activate Tribute to the Doomed. I personally think this Tribute to the Doomed is primarily here just to get a card out of the hand. I think our hand was all monsters. We do have the negate attack, which was Smokescreen set, which means we would assume the card closest to the deck is probably Fusion. So obviously very well played from Giorfio doing that. We are now going to activate Argent and see if we can't find something else. There is a burst, but we already know we have a burst in hand. So we don't necessarily want the burst Inatrix unless we've just drawn into the Avian already. But even then, because we have already got the Fusion in rotation, we can't send Argent to get Fusion. We can just send Argent just to send Argent, right? And just give a minus 600 negative to something just to make room. But the Fusion's already in rotation. We're very unlikely to be playing more than one. So we are doing that just to make room. And we obviously will be weakening as well. So presumably here, we've drawn into the Avian, so we have access to everything we want. Activate the Argent, so we're just going to keep digging. There's the Avian, so now we guaranteed have the Fusion. We know we have the Fusion. It's almost certainly the card closest to the deck, and we've seen 2 Burst Inatrix and an Avian be added to the hand. Down comes the Burst Inatrix, down comes the Avian. Activate the Fusion where we predicted it would be. And now we combine them together to create the elemental hero, Flame Wingman. Oh, not even Chronicle, feels bad. 1 back row, 2 back row. So once again, completely in the dark about what this back row are. I don't actually know if we even know if there's a delay on the 3rd back row, because when we attacked, there was a negate attack down. So I don't know if that 3rd back row's been there long enough that we know if it has a delay or not. So it might be completely blind sniping. I wouldn't be too worried. We got 3 back row. If our opponent does use... Chances are that monster in defense has around 1,000 defense. So it could be like 800, but it's probably around 1,000. A lot of these cards do have 1,000. So if we activate Secret Order, bring out a 32, activate Meteor Charge, we would get 22 plus 1,300-ish, right? So that is 35. But that requires us to have a Secret Order or a way to get, you know, the big boss out. That would also require to have the Meteor Charge and require all the back row being nothing. He might have Earthbound set. So I don't know if Giorfio is playing Earthbound because he's playing... In fact, I think we know that he can't be, or at least he'd be on a maximum of 1 copy because we've seen Ghost Cyclone. So we're Tribute Summoning. So this is actually fine. If we don't have a way to boost... So if we don't have Galactica Force and we don't have a Secret Order, even if we do have Meteor Charge, this shouldn't be lethal. Because this combined is only 48. Oh no, our opponent's on 3,000. Oh no, this is going to be just lethal if we have it. Again, depends what the back row is. Because if we assume that the set is another 1,000, 1,000... Oh, nothing! That is huge. That is so good. Wait. We could have... Have we already searched Meteor Charge this game? Or have we just not done it? Because it might just be we just wanted to have a bigger board. But it's a weird one. Against heroes, heroes don't really give a shit if you have a bigger board. So if Giorfio just activates Talismanic Seal Array, weakens down by 14, puts it down to 11, we attack over for 1,000, and then we burn for 2,500, which will just kill. So this is just lethal if Giorfio just doesn't draw the absolute worst hand possible. Like, he should have plenty of TSAs in the deck. I don't know why you wouldn't have them. Your opponent has no back row. I think this is just going to be lethal. Oh, unless we... Right, so we already have it then. We would have activated Argent if we didn't already have both of the pieces in hand. So now we'll just summon... Yeah, exactly. TSA comes down. We summon both the heroes, fuse them together. G motherfucking G. Pretty textbook here. Pretty textbook. Avian Burstinatrix Fusion. And out comes the Flame Wingman to deliver the final blow. And there we go. Nice, quick, easy win. But we're now one apiece. So the game is not over. We have to see who is going to come out on top. Again, if Giorfio wins, Heroes will be back on the spreadsheet. Because Giorfio only needs one win because this is quite a small tournament. So fingers crossed he does. Because it would be nice to see Heroes make their way back onto the sheet. As much as I don't know how earned it's going to be with a single win. But, you know, our rules are simply 16 players are the minimum. And, you know, one deck. Okay, so that is not the perfect start, but it's almost the perfect start. Someone is already in the semifinals. Chances are that is probably Light Galaxy. Light Galaxy ends games very, very quickly. You know, if everything goes right. Which, again, is why it's so good in point battles. So it looks like Ursus is still in the tournament. Gozu still in the tournament. Muton is still in the tournament. Muton, by the way, is... Or Muton. Is still in their first game. Compared to, you know, one person is already in the semifinals. Muton is still playing their first game. They are the only pair that is still in the first game. Well, you know, like the first match. So here comes the Universal Storm. Oh, that is a huge hit. He just has the double. He's opened one of the hands he gets against us. Well, he got against us. This is the Gengen special. Oh my god. What else have we got on the hand, though, that we're doing this now? Because we've got the piercing. Are we just going to slap down like a Transam? Alright, we have the Harvey. That's at least going to represent 300 damage. He really needs another normal summon to really capitalize on this. Oh, what is that set then? What do we think that set is? It could be Crayon or Klein, I think it's called now. It could be... It would have to have less than 1,000 attack. Otherwise, I don't think we set it. I'm trying to think what else it could be. Oh, that's pretty big, because that now means that if we get out of fusion, we get to clap over that and inflict a whopping 2,500 points of damage. Fortitude Dragon, bros. Yeah, Fortitude Dragon is just pretty good in this deck. I don't think it's, like, crazy, like, insane, like, what? You know, raises the deck to a whole other level, but it is quite nice. It does allow Flame Wingman to clear over a lot of the fusion monsters. So definitely a good card. Here, it wasn't really necessary. Realistically, we didn't need that extra 400, but it's nice to have the 400. Ah, Muton lost his game. That's a shame. There are still a lot of familiar faces in this tournament, though. So he's going to slam in. We're going to do 800, and then we're going to do the extra 23, so 31. That's going to be half of our opponent's life immediately. I don't know if I liked using 2 Universal Storm here. It is a bit of a weird one. I guess on the flip side, the hero deck plays a lot of back row hate. It's playing Avian Spell Tactics and Ghost Cyclone and... the Ether Striker or Ether Finder, whichever one it is that pops back row. So just setting cards can be a little bit tricky. Oh, we did use the TSA. I completely missed that. Just to get extra ton of damage in. So now, this is super scary for Gen. If Gengen doesn't, like, control everything for the rest of this game or just win in, like, the next turn, being at 1,600 life with Flame Wingman is super sketch. So he has to think long and hard about this. He drew reasonably well last turn. Now, obviously, he still had to set whatever that defense position monster is. Which isn't ideal, right? Obviously, he'd rather be capitalizing, doing a lot more damage. I don't know if he can really do a huge push here. He would need such a specific hand. Like, if he has, like what, Galactica Oblivion, discard it to search Secret Order, Tribute 2 to summon out like another one, activate like 2 copies of Secret Order, and then activate Meteor Charge. We'd even probably need double Meteor Charge. I don't think it's possible to like really just end the game this turn. You'd have to have such a specific hand. And again, heroes aren't too badly favored in this matchup just because they do play a lot of cards that have high defense. We're doing a big thing, so this is not a straightforward turn. He's probably thinking, no matter what he does, how do I just not die to Flame Wingman? Because it is a tricky one. If we summon out a huge board without any back row to protect, like, we know that we can give it the minus 600 and then just attack over it. 1600 life points being Rhynak number for Wingman is super scary. Oh, yeah. Ooh. That is actually quite bad for Gengen. The fact that we're doing that means we now only have 3 cards to work with. It was only a 21, so attacking over it was going to be quite easy anyway. So this feels like a desperation play. Gengen is taking a long time with this turn. He must have a lot of different options, and he's just really trying to weigh up which one is the best. Oh, that is the worst possible outcome for him. That is actually dreadful. So, assuming none of those are a Transam, Giorfio probably doesn't have a way to kill. Like, I don't think Giorfio plays Piercing Samurai in this deck. But we can get him nice and low. We know we can get at least 1300 damage. So here comes the Argent. It's funny how badly Gengen has been drawing in these games. Like, against us, it felt like he was this like unstoppable monster, and here it's just like, yeah, I'll just give you a couple of free turns, don't worry about it. So we did at least get the +1 off Argent. We don't know if it was the right one. And obviously, if we don't have already a hero set there, then we can't do a fusion no matter what. So we can only get rid of one of them with the skill. Ooh, 2 big think turns. 2 massive think turns. Oh, lots of back row, which is definitely not what Gengen's going to want to be seeing. So we do send that. So this does open the door for a fusion, as long as one of our last remaining 2 cards is a hero. So, slight misplay by Giorfio. We should have used the skill first before we set, but we've all been there. We've all made that mistake before, where you see it afterwards. Because basically, now you know, just don't hit that last one. Unless this is a massive, big brain play, and Giorfio actually set like a negate attack in that slot, and made Gengen think that that's the fusion. If he's done that, that's huge. That is like huge mind games. God, these turns have become so tense. Both players taking all the time they need to think through every possible line. That's the nice thing, and the difference between Speed and Rush, is you do generally get a lot more time to just think about your plays, because you don't have to execute like a long combo, for example. I did that once. Shit was really cool. But when it comes off, it's like, how? How has Gengen still got nothing? We still have all 3 Galactica Oblivions in the deck. We just haven't seen any. The thing is, there's no reason for Gengen to stall, right? Like, Jorfio's only ever gonna summon exactly a Flame Wingman face-up attack. So, like, waiting for him to go, like, on the aggress is just not gonna happen. So, Gengen must just be drawing like ass. Now, to be fair, we have now got 3 back row. Giorfio also, we know, plays at least 2 Ghost Cyclone, which means those cards are dead. So if any of those back row are Ghost Cyclone, those are just, like, used up slots. Especially since we've already searched the fusion, means we can't even send them to the graveyard. I think he's just trying to prepare OTK and go all in then. Yeah, but the only issue with that is your opponent now has 3 back row. I don't think you can afford to do that. Because if you go all in and your opponent, like, if you activate, like, double Meteor Charge, for example, and your opponent negate attacks, the game's over, right? I feel like you have to bait the negate attack out at some point if he's got it. Have you ever played the hit game Ao Oni? I do not believe so. Let me have a look quick. We're gonna probably take some bait here. Oh, it's this horror game. Unfortunately, we only do trading cards here. Alright, what is Giorfio going to do? Giorfio has so many cards. So we're sending our Ether to the grave. Making room. We set a monster. I don't know how you bait NA. Well, it's more like, rather than like actually baiting it, it's more like you just have to force it at a situation where your opponent doesn't get as much value from it, right? Like, you have to just keep trying to get damage in. Because, right, your options are one of 2, right? Either you try and use, like, Meteor Charges one at a time, try and get in and get damage in and get a negate attack off that way. Or we just say, if you've got negate attack, I can't win, so I'm going to save up for this one big push and just pray you don't have it, right? They're kind of the options that we've got. What if I don't want to trade? No, you have to trade Duel Links Alpha. That's just how it works. You must trade. It's a... There was a... What was it? There was a... I think it was a Pokemon thing. Where when you went to Pokemon tournaments, you could earn, like, bonus points for, like, your... I don't know, something that got you prizes. And one of them was, like, trading cards. So people were just like, do you just want to trade so we can get some bonus points? And they're like, yeah. It's like, here's a shitty common. Here's my shitty common. Thanks. Oh, okay. That's not good. Is that... Okay, it was just a little hiccup. We can catch back up. So Giorfio has begun ripping apart the back row. So we did use Tactics, and we did use the Ether to pop 2 back row. So now Giorfio is deciding if he wants to put a Warrior on the top of his deck. It's just in-card game to me. No, it's trading cards. They will always be trading cards. Giorfio is spending a long time thinking about if he wants to put a card back on top of his deck. So, I mean, Giorfio can force a 2-turn clock here. That is about the best Giorfio can do, as is. Right, so we are putting Avian back on top. Also note, that back row was Avian Spell Tactics. Oh no, it wasn't. It would have been the fusion. We just skipped over it. So we add the fusion back. So if we can make the second fusion, which we can, this now threatens lethal. So that back row has to be... It has to be negate attack. It has to be a legend. I don't think there's anything else it could be that could keep him alive. I think it has to be exactly a legend. And if it is, that means Giorfio missed. And that's going to be the game, it looks like. Double Flame Wingman burn for the win. That is going to be heroes back on the spreadsheet. Anyways, I'm off to bed. Good night, Tomato. Happy Halloween. Thanks for stopping by, Alpha. We do appreciate you dropping in and saying hello. And I hope your rest is pleasant. He's getting his game on. Just cannot keep Giorfio down. It was a weird game. It really did feel like Gengen like ran out of steam like really quickly. Like, I mean, we all know this, right? If the Light Galaxy deck draws badly, or if it doesn't like kill you in the first few turns, its grind game kind of sucks. But that game really did feel like we went down to 16, and then either we just started drawing like ass, or we were just too scared to do anything. It was one of the two. Obviously, we don't know what was in his hand, so we can't know for certain. But I think he just started drawing badly, and then by the time Giorfio had amassed so many cards, at that point it became, well, I can't do anything now, right? If you have anything, if you have your traps or anything, I can't realistically accomplish anything here. So what game are we going into now? We're going into Ursus versus Ra. So Ursus has won 2 games so far at 2-1. Unfortunately, one of the decks might be into the ether. We might not be able to see what that one was. And it might happen to another game as well. Unfortunately, both of the games that we're spectating are people that we can talk to, which means getting their information is quite easy. Thank you for the follow, Vinicius. Welcome, welcome. Ooh. So Ra looking to be on Metarian. Ursus looking to be on the Warrior deck. This is a little bit spooky, though, because... Oh, okay, so we are playing around everything. So this is quite clever. So we could have gotten in for an extra chunk of damage. But that leaves us extraordinarily vulnerable to exactly Metarian OTK TCB combo. If you can't do that much damage turn 1, I probably would set both Universal Storms, and maybe, but maybe that's just me. I think I would do exactly the same, Dwan. Again, the only issue would be, do you think your opponent is going to be able to pop them? Right, and this, again, with Giorfio's build specifically, I think he does play 8 cards that can pop back row. But, like, if you bait out those 8 cards, that's still fine, right? You still 1 for 1. So I think I'm on the same page as you. I think I would do exactly the same thing. So we do pop that. So we could have, again, thrown Caution to the Wind and just gotten in for a direct hit for an extra 25, which could have potentially led to us winning the game. But we would have just died to any... if any of those back row were TCB, that was just game. So we're just bringing back a 1400 guy. Assumably we're going to set another back row. Then we're just going to... We're activating TCB just to empty the hand a bit more by the look of this. So we can pop one of the back row. We get in, and then that is going to be lethal against Ursus. I don't know if this was game 1 or game 2 or game 3. Oi Tudor Bem. I mean, I have no idea what language that is, but we'll chuck it into Google and see what Google spits out at us. That is Portuguese for, hey, how's it going? I mean, we're doing well. I mean, we're a bit bummed that we misplayed and got knocked out of the tournament, but other than that, feeling pretty good. Let's see. Bomb. How do we pronounce that? There we go.
Bomb.
Bomb. Bomb is how we're doing. Predaplant use Patchwork in their deck? No. I mean, it does make sense, right? Because Patchwork is a card that did see a lot of play in TCG in loads of other fusion decks. TCB here was empty the hand and have machines for barrage. Oh, there we go then. It was, I mean, we already knew that it was to empty the hand, but I didn't even notice it was to turn them on, turn them into machines for barrage. I see you speaking German at me now, it looks like. Or is this going to be Dutch? Unfortunately, I have not done German for many a years. How are you? And I hope the chat is fun. I will say to you some of the only German words that I remember from my youth. Which was what? Ich habe einen großen Bruder. But yeah, we're doing good. We're doing pretty good. Watching the tournament. we're spectating some more games. So I assume Ursus just got knocked out of the tournament. That would have been game 3. So with that in mind, we then know that Ursus was playing Warrior Fusion. So we can add that to our spreadsheet. And then this is another, I believe, top 4 game? This is Gozu versus Guy. And it looks like this is just a Metarian mirror. You guys enjoy Metarian mirrors? Metarian mirrors, what everyone comes here for? So unfortunately, that means the winner of this game is going to be playing against Metarian. So this is a Metarian mirror into a Metarian mirror, which means we guaranteed have a Metarian in the finals. Which, I don't know, if you like Metarian, I guess that's a cool thing. If you're not a big fan of Metarian, well, you know, Metarian are in the finals. Did you see Hero Sesso? Yes, we did, Jorfio. We got to commentate your entire game. We were cheering for you the whole time. We watched the... I mean, it was basically the double Elemental Hero Flame Wingman play that was probably the most exciting part. I need to play Metarian at this point, Lol. I mean, Metarian is outperforming every single deck in the entire game, including the decks that counter it. So the decks that quote-unquote have a good matchup into it, Metarian still doesn't have a bad matchup. Realistically, Metarian's worst matchup is probably like 40% Metarian, 60% other deck. So like, and even that might be a bit of a stretch. It might be more like 45-55. So it's just so good. Yeah, I was scared of the Ruin, to be honest. I mean, I do not blame you at all. Although it did kind of look a little bit like Gengen kind of stalled out. It looked like he kind of ran out of plays. Like, there was a point where I was like, okay, this is where he goes aggressive, and then just set 3, pass. And it was like, oh, I see this is going nowhere. Oh, TCB coming down. So we are going to... What happened there? Was that a time limit loss? Or did he click the wrong button? I have no idea what happened there. Obviously, I can't read the Japanese on the screen. Now, my favorite part of the Metarian mirror is when the type changes the type. The beam changes the type. Everyone loves the gun, right? No matter what anyone says about the gun being bad for the meta, the gun makes things exciting for the viewers. And I think that's the important thing. Blaster's Inferno is cool too. Blaster's Inferno is a really cool deck. It's a shame it's not, like, performing well in tournament. It's like, it's a point battle deck. Like, it keeps doing okay in point battles and not doing well in tournaments. But I think that's because in a point battle, the games are quite quick, right, for Blaster's Inferno. So even if you lose, you just jump straight back into another one and try and blast your opponent again in the next game. Is that Icy Gamers in the chat? Welcome, welcome on in. Let's hit you with the exclamation mark Icy, as we always do. Hope you're having a good day, Icy. Of course, the American shows up at the mention of a gun. How's the cup going? So we didn't go too well for us. We misplayed, and we lost very, very quickly. But I still stand by. I think we were going to lose anyway. I'm going to stand by that. But everyone else, I say everyone else, who's still in? Gozu is still in, and we're watching him right now. Ra is still in. Giorfio is still in. I think that's everyone we know, like, by name. So Giorfio has made top 8. Ursus did make top 8, but unfortunately got knocked out by Ra. And this is another quarterfinal match right now between two Metarian decks, which... Metarian mirrors I never find to be particularly exciting. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe some people really like the Metarian mirror. I always find that the Metarian mirror is entirely who gets luckier and who doesn't fuck up. And not fucking up shouldn't be too hard. So, at that point, it just comes down to luck. Last for a summer. Here with the glow sticks. Everyone loves the glow sticks. Maybe I should get some glow stick emotes as well at some point. I got sacked by opponent opening NA turn 1 twice. Yeah, it always sucks when that happens. Every time, right? I will say this. Every single time I open a legend turn 1, it will get popped. Like, without fail. It just happens, right? It's like, I set negate attack turn 1. Pop, it's gone. I'm just like, okay. Opponent gets their legend turn 1. It always sticks, and I can't do anything about it. And I'm just like, why does this happen? Am I just really unlucky? Ooh, okay. So Laden Star is an interesting one. A lot of people have actually started cutting Glaciosaurus and by extension Laden Star from their lists because it's just not as high value. Only Tearlaments mirror funny. Buck is about skills. Did you try Pokemon Pocket? So I was fully intending to play Pokemon Pocket. But my mobile device is a little bit old and thus is just shy of the minimum specs required to play it. And then I was like, well, I could get an emulator, but setting up a mobile emulator is kind of a pain, and I didn't really want to bother. So I've done the whole emulator thing before, right? I played Cross Duel on emulator, and I played Vanguard Zero on emulator, but I did not want to bother setting up for Pokemon Pocket. I think Pokemon Pocket's going to be fun, but I do think it's going to be one of those games that in 2 weeks' time, most of the player base isn't going to give a shit anymore. It's going to be kind of a fad game. So I do still want to play it, and I would play it if my phone would play it, but I'm not super invested enough to set up an emulator to play it. Like Unfair for Legend cards, same. I can't play it because of that, but I'm lazy to just bother playing it PC. Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of spooky. We have summoned out 2 attack mode fusions, so we will just lose the TCB combo. So both players are sort of throwing caution to the wind, but Gozu does still have 6k life points, and he has 2 back row, whereas his opponent doesn't have either of those things, which really puts him in a bad position. If any of those back row is anything, like basically if Gozu has a legend trap, which it looks like he does, so this is looking like it's over. Gozu is going to be taking this one. Surely there's no way that Gozu can't take this. So we flip one down, we can pop it. We run into the other, then we just attack directly. We have lethal on board. We literally have lethal on board. The game is already over. How is Pokemon Pockets? Is it any good? So I have a lot of friends that are playing it, and I've been watching them play it, and it does seem pretty cool. Like, the game does seem neat. It's a little bit simplistic, but I do actually think the way that it changes... So I don't know if anyone has ever played the Pokemon TCG. The Pokemon TCG has some really, really cool qualities and some horrendous ones. Like, I personally hate energy because I hate whenever I have a resource in my deck. I really hate, like, lands and magic. I hate having energy in my deck in Pokemon. So having a separate energy deck that we attach to our Pokemon once a turn, I think is really, really cool. I really like that as a mechanic. Is that Jojo who's just followed? Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. I think it's decent, but I'm trying it out because I'm curious. It's one of those things, if I did play it, I would play it semi-competitively, so I would be, like, re-rolling until I got a good start sort of thing. I would say it is a bit too many coin flips. Yes, that is one big thing that's always turned me off of the Pokemon TCG, is just the sheer amount of, like, randomness in it. Because there is randomness in, like, Yu-Gi-Oh!, right? But it's very few and far between. A lot of the cards are never really good. Like, one of the few exceptions we have is, like, Barrel Dragon was good in Duel Links for a bit, right? So we had to flip coins. That's about it. Tomato Pocket stream went. Well, it's not... for the reasons I've just explained, I see that will not be happening. Bag has Hole called Negate. I played TCG Lives, running out of energy because it's all in discard pile. I almost have a good Charizard deck, just missing one Charmeleon. Oh god, Snipe Hunter back in the day, bro. So again, we do have Snipe Hunter in Duel Links, but we're not going to be using it very much unless we actually use like the dice roll deck. But Snipe Hunter back in the day was everywhere, and that card was so obnoxious. The amount of times you'd just be like, well, you know, I've got a 66% chance to have this go my way. Oh, one. I've just -3'd myself for no reason. It's like... and don't forget, when you have no Pokemon to put and opponent draw 2. I like the mechanical changes that are in the Pokemon Pocket. I also like the maximum you can have in your deck of any card is 2. I do quite like that. Also, when you get a chance, Jorfio, if you can let me know what your opponent is playing, in case, you know, you win. Because if you win, I will never know what they played unless you tell me. For the old spreadsheet. Yeah, it's one of those weird ones. I don't know what I would have gone for as a start. Because as far as I'm aware, like, as long as you get the Charizard, the Mewtwo, or the Pikachu, you're kind of good to go. Metarium. Thank you so much. Duel Links or Pokemon? I mean, why not both? It's interesting, you can only have up to 2 copies of a card rather than 3 or 4. Yes. It's the same as Hearthstone. Because in Hearthstone, it's like smaller deck size with 2 maximum copy. So like, it does work out. And especially when you have, let's say like 30 card decks, and you get 2 of each card, that means you've now got at least 15 unique cards in your deck, which I think is quite cool. So this is Gozu versus Ra in another Metari Mirror. So who is going to win this Metari Mirror? Is Gozu going to scrape his way all the way up to the finals, or is Ra? Now, for anyone that doesn't know, both of these players are the kind of player that picks one deck and one tricks the fuck out of it. So basically, since Gozu stopped playing Psychics, he has been playing nothing but Metarian the entire time. And Ra, basically, as long as he's not playing Cyberse, is playing Metarian. So these are basically 2 Metarian one-tricks. Guy, add more Pierce in your Sidra deck. It's good. I mean, Pierce is a bit of a weird card because if you're ahead, sure, Pierce is great. If you're behind, Pierce is super, super ass. So from a consistency standpoint, I would not recommend including it. But if you want to high roll, yeah, fantastic. Gozu is more of the type of player that copies the best performing deck. Yeah, I think that's another way to phrase it. But basically, it kind of amounts to the same thing, right? Gozu will just play whatever he thinks is the best deck every single time. And once he's decided what the best deck is, I feel like he sticks with it either way. So, like, every format, I think Gozu has just played the best deck. Before this format, he played Psychics. Before that, he played Machines. And those were always the best performing decks. So out comes the Reactor, activate Reactor, put the Monster Incarnation back in, we get the Pot of Greed to draw 2 cards. Now, Ra's board is not particularly exciting, and it's not going to be difficult to break. The downside is if we don't OTK, again, we have to be worried about the type change being combo. We can just hard draw it off the top. It is only a 4-card combo, and again, if we do already have a fusion set up in the graveyard, then if we find the Star Restart, it becomes a 3-card combo. So it still takes 4 cards to use, but you only have to see 3 specific cards from the deck. Hero Sesso top 4. So that means we can slap... What have I done wrong here? Metarian lost. Light Galaxy... Oh, this is top 4. That's right. Wait, no, it's not. So Light Galaxy never made it in. I see what I did wrong. I see what I did wrong. So Light Galaxy never made it to top 4, so it's just Metarium. And that means Heroes has made top 4, but we can't write it in yet because we don't know where the hero is going to finish. Because as we all know, Jorfio is our hero. As the last remaining Westerner in the tournament, all of our hopes and dreams now lie on Jorfio's shoulders. I believe. Yeah, I was 1 match behind. Yeah. It's just me being a dum-dum. That's all it is. Heroes replays. Let's go. Well, we'll have to see if we actually get to spectate Jorfio's games. It depends how long these games take. Type change beam. Oh, could this be it? Could this be TCB combo to end the game? Nope, we're revealing a dragon. But can we get double Cyborg out? I don't believe it's physically possible. So we're only going to be summoning out the 1. So we're just going to pop and then swing over for 14 damage. And then what are we doing with the last 2 cards in hand? That is the big question. Again, if they're 1400 monsters and we summon them in attack, we do open ourselves to TCB combo. So right now, if we did a TCB combo, we would gain 42. Then we could attack over for... We'd put Gozu down to 400 life points. So right now, TCB combo on its own will not end the game. But it's close. Monster reincarnation is huge here because this now means we should be able to get reactor back. Or if we already have a reactor in our hand, that's still going to represent a +2. So we add back the Sword Dancer. That is very scary. This is very underwhelming. I was expecting so much, and I've been just disappointed. So yeah, Ashura Star comes down, but we've only got 1 card left in hand, so there can't be a combo here. We can boost its attack up to 42, set 1 back row. We have to hope and pray that that back row is live, and that it's impactful, and that it does not get hit. Galaxy is in top 4. So if it's your opponent, Jorfio, we have no idea what they're playing, because we haven't seen them at all. Like, we literally haven't seen them play a single game yet on stream. And we haven't got anyone that we can... Yeah, he hasn't played against anyone that's in the chat, so we haven't been able to corroborate what he's on. Well, that's good to know. It's good to know that he is on the Light Galaxy. Okay, so where are we going with this Gozu? I feel like Gozu has had the advantage this entire game. Right now, he has 7 cards in his hand, and like 66% of an Ashura Star on the board. And now he has an actual Ashura Star on the board, still with 6 cards in hand. Surely, there is no way he doesn't end the game this turn with 6 cards in hand. He would have to have such a specific hand of just unusable cards. But there comes the Star Restart. This will almost certainly end this game. Surely, there is no way this doesn't end the game. So we mill another 2, but that will be the last time we can use a reactor. So this is going to summon out everybody's favorite Ashura Star. So this now represents popping a back row, crashing and attacking directly, leaving our opponent with 400. So any normal summon ends the game. Just any normal summon. And there it is. There is a normal summon, effectively. And so that is that 2-0? Was that... I think that was a quick 2-0. I haven't been paying, like, as much attention as I probably should have, but I'm pretty sure that was a quick 2-0. Gozu just drew better. He just got luckier, and I think he was always on, like, the turn advantage. I think he always went first, which meant he always had more resources to work with. Oh, was that only... I think that was only game 1. So we are actually going into game 2. That, you know what it is? I'm getting confused between this game and the last game that was also a Metarian Mirror. That's where we've gone wrong here. Alright, so let's see what Gozu and Ra have for us game 2. And once again, Gozu has won the coin toss, which will give him more... Oh, no, he hasn't. He's lost the coin toss. That's just me being an idiot again. How many times can we do it in the stream? But Ra won the coin toss, and he empties the whole hand, which is not too unlikely with this deck, but we have got 3 monsters down. Now, if one of those monsters isn't a imaginary actor or imaginary reactor, he could have just bricked himself. Like, clogged up his board so he can't really do anything. And this deck, at least in its vanilla state, doesn't really have a good way to deal with that. You just kind of have to wait for your opponent to kill one. But as long as he has a actor or reactor down there, then he's completely fine. Or I suppose the flip side would be that he doesn't want all 3 of them to be reactor or actor. That is a really bad hit. Hitting the reincarnation is really bad. Hitting TCB is okay. What do we... Why did we do that? Was that literally to empty the hand? That was literally to just free room up so we could set more cards, so we can draw more cards next turn. So, we're starting to see the one real drawback of Metarian, and that is if you don't find Fusion, the deck is really weak vanilla turbo. So, unfortunately for Ra, this board is kind of crap. So, can Gozu punish? The fact that we're setting cards tells me we probably can't. So, Gozu is probably in a situation again where he can't also perform a fusion. So that's either all he has is reactors and actors, or all he has is non-actors and reactors, or he hasn't found the fusion spell card. But now we could also find ourselves in a weird spot where if neither player can activate their back row, neither player can perform a fusion summon. So right now, Gozu has the advantage, assuming both players are all clogged up. And that's just because Ra will deck out first. But if the players aren't clogged up and they're just choosing to not play anything, it will come down to who draws like their full combo first. Now, the thing to remember with Metarian is your full combo kind of caps out because you can only summon out 2 fusion monsters. Spooky balls. Is that Sora Mir in the chat? Welcome, welcome. I think they're called pumpkins. So, where are we going with this? Are we going to wait until we draw full what even does the full Metarian combo look like into 6 sets? So we know that Ra has already used 2 barrage. So, Gozu could wait for 3 barrages, assuming he's playing them. You could TCB into dragons, summon out 2, pop both. Then use the other dragon or the other fusion to pop the other. I suppose that's the combo. Is going to be using TCB with either a Hercules or with Vritrastar. Well, we have an exciting game on our hands, everyone, where both players keep passing back and forth because they are too scared to do anything or they physically can't do anything. Both players just waiting. So now, Gozu does have the first chance to get damage in. 3 Barrage, Ashura Star, Vritrastar, Vanilla Arc, Turbo. I don't even think you need all of that, right? Double Ashura. Is Double Ashura better, though? I feel like what you'd rather do is summon out either Hercules or Vritra, as well as another guy, like an Ashura as well. Then you can pop both of the cards. But again, this only works for Gozu because his opponent has face-up cards. If it's set 3, like set 3 monsters, I guess it has to be Double Ashura. Pop, pop. But then you can't even lethal from that position because the most you could get is a 29. Or unless you do like double Imaginary Arc, but even that won't be able to kill because you won't be able to. Because if you use the skill to get the Imaginary Arc, well, I suppose if you just hard draw the Imaginary Arc, that would do it, right? Because you just attack over with the vanilla and then fusion with an unskilled arc, so you get to do full damage. So yeah, I think you're right, Sora. I think you're right. So here we go. We're going to start using our massive hand to start stringing plays together. But we are bringing back... So we're going to start ripping apart the back row. I don't see a reason to make double Ashura unless you want to just destroy all of the back row. So we're going to activate the Ashura, assuming we're going to pop a back row. There goes a Star Restart. And then we're going to pop another one. Unfortunately, if we don't hit exactly... Right, that was a big hit. That was a huge hit. I was going to say, if you don't hit exactly traps, I don't think it matters. Because the hand is so big, denying resources is meaningless at this point. We are just trying to hit specific cards that are problem cards. So, like, we hit a Starry Start. I don't think it matters. He's probably got another one in hand. But, like, where do we go from here? We're so vulnerable to Type Change Beam. Like, we have to have trap cards of our own. Okay, Ra draws a card. We activate the final copy of Barrage. Popping the negate! That's so big! So, right, if we TCB combo now, we gain 56. So we just get 56 damage in. So if we have Imaginary Arc and Type Change Beam combo, this represents lethal. Do we have it? We have to have the Imaginary Arc Turbo as well to get the extra 500 damage. Otherwise, we'll be leaving our opponent with 400 life points left. Oh, but that won't... Oh, no, it will work. It will work because we haven't used the skill. Oh, we're just going to make another one! Right, there we go. That's all we needed then. We didn't even need the Arc Turbo. We'll just make a second Ashura Star and stack the buffs. We don't even need to stack the buffs. We're going to do whatever we want with them. But we know our opponent can't stop this. He would need exactly Call of the Earthbound. That is the only possible way he can stop this. Have you tried Pokemon TCG Pocket? So we were talking about this a little while ago, Sora. I personally haven't because my phone can't play it and I didn't want to set up an emulator. I was hoping to play it. I wanted to play it. But we didn't end up playing it in the end. And there it is, guys. That is the power of a gun. So whenever someone tells you that guns shouldn't be legal, this is what they're talking about. This is why gun control is such a big thing in America, because people get OTK'd constantly. Now, it probably is a bit too deep of a topic for a card game Twitch stream, so we'll probably just drop that. But so, we're 1-1. Gozu has left the table. He's still in the room, he's just left the table. I don't know why, but I'm sure we'll find out. Meanwhile, we have the other game going on between Giorfio and his opponent, who's... I have no idea what his opponent's name is. From Yu-Gi-Oh! To politics, exactly. That's some dark joke. I mean, to be fair, I am British, and dark humor is kind of our thing. You'll have to forgive it. You have to forgive it. So we are swapping over to Giorfio versus Light Galaxy person. I don't know why we stopped watching the other game. I don't know if they were having technical difficulties or what. British. Exactly. Exactly. So Giorfio on the top. Again, I do not know what Giorfio's opponent is called. But we do know they are playing Light Galaxy. So Giorfio's kind of doing a Light Galaxy gauntlet at the moment. We set 5 and we pass. Pretty good open for Giorfio. What is his opponent going to do? We summon out the Foot Titan. We summon Harvey. We take a look at the back row. We will activate the skill to search. We're then going to activate Hammer Crush. This is something that we do see quite a bit. Like, people do just play Hammer Crush in this deck. Now, that is a bit spooky, though. We have set 2 back row. So we had the option to search the Meteor Charge. And instead, we're just going to throw away, effectively, a Secret Order. I'm not sure I agree with that play. Losing Secret Order is really bad. Especially when you know that the hero deck plays a lot of back row hate. So, not a big fan of these plays so far, I'm not going to lie. So we'll be adding the fusion. We're going to activate the fusion, combine our monsters together into the Flamewing Man. And that is a Chronicle fusion by the look of it as well. So once again, this is going to represent just a massive ton of damage. This is 27. putting our opponent down to 33. Is that hero? Yes, it's Giorfio the hero, playing heroes. We are going to be crashing with Linak. And unfortunately, he could not clear over the Ether Seeker? I don't know which one that one is. We're going to be activating another Avian Spell Tactics, putting the Burstinatrix on top. Then we summon out the dragon. Obviously, the dragon's not live, so we will use our skill to send it to the graveyard. Summon out the Avian, activate the fusion, create another Flame Wingman. Negate attack does come off here. This is pretty big, especially just considering how much back row hate Giorfio plays. Just getting the negate attack off is a bit of an accomplishment. Activate the skill. Okay, so we have a 32, a 23, and an 11. So this is not going to represent lethal, but it is a decent chunk. Now, the scary part of this is negate attack's already been used, and if we get out a Flame Wingman, we basically are scaring lethal already, right? Because if we reduce the attack of, let's say, Galactica Oblivion by 600 with the skill, we attack over it for 200 damage, and then we burn for 25. So that's, I mean, that's not lethal, but any other reduction on top is going to be lethal, right? And TSA is a card that's typically run at 2 or 3 copies in this deck. So we add the fusion. Knowing that the negate attack is gone, we don't really care about the other back row. Like, there's very few back row that can actually stop Flame Wingman from getting his damage in. Unless we use TSA, then it becomes a bit more important, but... Ooh. Okay, so this is a little bit scary, but the Light Galaxy player does survive, down to 500 life points. Now, how do we die? We have to use... It's not easy to die from this position, I don't think. Like, we still could die, but it's like... Realistically, it's going to be like... Meteor Charge, plus Tribute Summon out a boss, plus Secret Order. Alright, well there's that. So... These monsters are probably going to have about 1,000 defense each. So if we do swing over one, and we've boosted that one. Okay, so we're going to be getting in for... Oh, double... Jesus! Okay, we had literally the God Hand. Would we have died to just the Meteor Charge? We would have taken 16, and then we would have taken 11. So no, we would not have died, I don't think, because that would have been 26, 27. Yeah, so we would have lived if it wasn't for the second Meteor Charge. That, well, I mean, to be fair, I think we could have killed if we had used Meteor Charge to change to attack, and then reduced the attack of the newly flipped up monster instead of reducing the attack of Flame Wingman. We could have just attacked over one of them, and then attacked over the defense mode with the piercing, at which point it would have been 2,000 damage plus... God, what would it have gone down to? It would have dropped to 400, so we would have got him for 19. Yeah, that would have just been lethal. So we didn't need the second, but... Hello, sir. Hello, Waltz. How are you doing? I'm doing the classic cog climb on the last day. Standard. Omega lol. Had to use TSA earlier, I guess, but still very cringe game. Yeah, unfortunately, that did not go the way that we wanted it to go. It's one of those weird games where I don't think you did anything wrong, right? That's just how it went. What is going on over here? Are they on game 3? Because they played 2 games and then we left it. Like Gozu left the room or some shit. And I have no idea what's going on. So unfortunately, this is as far as the Elemental Heroes goes. Which is a shame. So that does mean it's going to be a Light Galaxy versus Metarian finals no matter what. Because we got a Metari mirror here, and we already know there's Light Galaxy in the final. Who would have thought it, guys? Light Galaxy and Metarian being your finalists. Who would have predicted? Definitely not me. So Ra opens with set 4. So there is potential to, like, get some nice damage in here. But if we're just making Vritra, the number of monsters doesn't matter. We would have to summon additional guys in attack mode and swing in. But then that leaves us very, very open to TCB combo. So we don't really want to do that. I believed in Light Galaxy from day one. I believed in Secret Order from day one. And I had several people tell me that, no, Secret Order is going to be bad. We don't have enough stuff to make Secret Order good. There's no way to abuse the Secret Order. And now who's laughing? Right, there goes... Okay. Oh, TCB? Are we just going for it? That's only going to be 2,800 damage. Like, it'll clear. But it's not like a insane play. Okay, we're going to get in for 28. That's not bad. We did need that to clear as well. Because Ashura Star only pops face downs and we had no way to make it face down. So we are going to go for the Pot of Greed. So 6 cards in hand. We're going to activate our own TCB Revealed Dragon. Okay, okay. Emergency ban list for Gun one time. I don't think they're going to be honest. So we're going to summon out Vritra Star. Activate Vritra Star, pop, because we did change it into a dragon. Then we'll summon... Oh. So, alright. From Gozu's point of view, TCB kills him anyway. He's only got 3,200 life. So, like, TCB Ashura is already going to be 2,800 damage, so just a normal summon kills. So, like, I don't hate this play, but we have to pray that one of our back row there is negate attack. Like, we desperately need that. There it is, the negate attack. Oh, Gozu, you are just built different. You just draw exactly what you need. People Soromir were saying that level 8 skill was better. I mean, I think, you know, in hindsight, it makes sense that the one that's been winning tournaments is the better skill, right? But at the time, I think, you know, there was cause for discussion. Right, so out comes Vritra Star. And did we just use TCB to change them into dragons? I didn't spot it or not. We did not. Now we're going to TCB. TCB Warriors now! Oh, there was nothing Gozu could do because he had already used his negate attack. That is actually huge. So, that means Gozu is knocked out. The better player did win, so we will be seeing... We should probably try and work out what these players' names are. Really. So, let's jump over to the bracket. Let's turn this to English. And see what we get as their names. So we know Ra. So we have Undercover Study Abroad. I don't know who this is. Man draws gun 3 turns in a row, wins, shocker. Exactly. I mean, it's a really weird one. It's really... It's not an easy one to address. Because Gun basically lets... Gun basically allows the deck to do what it's supposed to do. But what it's supposed to do is too good in Duel Links because we don't have the right back row that we're meant to have. And we have 2,000 less life points. Which, to be fair, sometimes Matarian doesn't give a shit. They're like, I can do 10,000 damage, I don't care. But sometimes they narrowly get to close out the game with that 6,000 life points. So that's the main reason. Gun is too good in Duel Links specifically. It's so crazy. Your translated names are so funny. Oh yeah, oh yeah. That version would maybe be good if Reverie wasn't limit 3. Yeah, if Reverie wasn't... I mean, you got to remember as well that originally, when we saw the reveals, Secret Order wasn't limited. So we all went into it going, oh, Secret Order isn't limited. That's insane. The best deck in the format is going to be Machines. Like, Innovator plus Tough Striker with with Order. That was... Unironically, if it was unlimited, I think that would probably be the best deck right now. If not Matarian. I don't know, actually. Would it? It would definitely be good. I don't know if it would be the best deck. It still lacks ways to plus, although you still can use Reactor, but it's unreliable. No, I don't think it would be the best deck. I think the main reason that Galaxy is so good is because of Meteor Charge. If it wasn't for Meteor Charge, it wouldn't be as strong, realistically. It's the way that you can, like, end games on, like, turn 3. Like, that's the strength of the deck. It's just so much overwhelming damage so quickly for so few resources. So Ashura Star pops, set another back row, we get 2 direct attacks in, and that's just going to be it. That's just going to be the game. Sometimes we don't even need gun. We just double Ashura Star, pop 2 monsters out the way, and your opponent doesn't have any back row to stop you. So it looks like game 2 has started. Who is going to win? Is it going to be Ra, who has been running a bit of a... Well, to be fair, Ra hasn't really played a gauntlet. He's only played the one mirror so far, I believe. All it takes is to snipe NA. I mean, basically, yeah. If NA's out of the question, you have no fear, right? Like, what can even stop you at that point? It's Majesty that no one's going to be on. Or it's Earthbound, which Galaxy isn't going to be on. Like 100% Galaxy isn't going to be on Earthbound. There's no way you drop a secret order for that. And Earthbound as well is such a weird, like, meta pick, because it's, like, really good against some decks and really mid against others. We're just setting... Okay, we are going to get we're getting the whole hand empty. Okay. So how is the Galaxy's turn 1 going to go? So we do send that. We are going to grab Meteor Charge. That's very telling of what we already have in hand. Summon out Harvey, activate Harvey, take a look at the fusion. Just have a nice little peek. Then we're going to activate the Secret Order, bring out the Galactica Oblivion at 3200. Right, this music is too somber for a grand final. There we go, that's a bit better. Get in for 27, thanks to the piercing damage. So I understand why we didn't flip up, right? Because if it was a 1400, which it was the most likely it was a 1400, we can't clear it with Harvey. So I understand why, but it just feels bad to miss out on 800 damage there. So we activate Star Restart, bring back the Imaginary Actor, activate the Barrage of Steel, pop the back row. It was Slime, which doesn't really matter. It wouldn't have made a huge difference in this game, I don't think. So Vitristar comes down. So this represents a dead Galactica Oblivion already. We have 2 cards left. We are going to just normal summon out the Serpenta because we don't care, right? We're not playing against gun. And if there's no gun, we don't care about swarming the board in attack position. So Metarian actually gets to play how they want to play. DC can out you. DC outs anything, though. That's like the ultimate alternate win condition. How do we feel about Zwei being in Duel Links? I mean, does it really make much of a difference? I suppose is the question. We get swing it in, and we get in for 13. We only have 1 back row to protect us, and we are in lethal range of a type change beam combo. And why don't we Pot of Greed on top? So, basically, Ra right now is going to have 6 cards in hand, 3 cards on the board. 9 cards to work with. He only needs 4 cards to make a TCB combo work. We have normal summoned now, though, which means we might not have the TCB. Either that, or we've misplayed, or we have another warrior in hand. So we'd have to have a second copy of Sword Dancer in the hand. It looks like we're just going to be popping the back row. And we hit NA. That is actually huge. That might decide the game on the spot. So now we can go ahead and make another fusion. Which one are we going to go for is the question. So what are we going to summon from our hand? We have no idea at the moment. It could be Vritra. I assume this is out of necessity because Hercules Star doesn't do anything. Outside of TCB, it's completely pointless. Set. Yeah, so this was clearly out of just necessity. It was this or nothing. We're just going to put Harvey back in. We don't want to put any more level 7 and higher back in because of the skill they represent, you know, a search. Hello there, Mr. Tomato. Hello, Sakadetsu. Welcome, welcome. Here comes the Universal Storm. We do hit the Slime. that is actually really important in this matchup specifically. So that could be huge. Thank you for the follow, David. Welcome, welcome. Zvijo, hello chat. I mean, Zvijo is going to be cool. Like, we made a video about it, right? Going over what we think is going to come. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact. It's really going to depend on the skills, personally. Damn, NA bros are not feeling good. Yeah, all the North Americans in the chat. Parko doesn't feel so good. So, we only have 2 cards left to work with. No matter how this shakes out. I mean, what even happened here? So we have 2... Wait, what did happen? Surely this is just game, right? Surely there's no coming back from this. We pop the monster... Then we're 1,000 damage short of winning? Or no, we just pop the monster, I assume. So we don't get to do that. So we get to... If we just have Imaginary Arc Turbo, we win. No tributes happened. Yeah, I was reading the chat, so I missed it. But I assume we just, like, basically set 3 and then that was it. Right, so we've searched that. So we're just going to get in for the 28. If we didn't have to search it, we could have won this turn, I think. So we just swing, swing. Yeah. It would have been way over lethal. So we're going to take another look at the fusion. Just have a little peek. Just keep tabs on it. Universal Storm. We do hit a TCB. Activate. The question is, though... This does threaten lethal, but we have to just pray that we won the 50-50. It has to be a legend trap. That's the only thing that stops us. We have to just pray that we just won the 50-50. And that is going to be it for this game. It was literally down to a coin flip. It was, did he hit the left or the middle? And we hit the wrong one. Unfortunately, that is just how Rush Duels go sometimes. Not the most exciting end to the game, but that does mean that Ra will be our champion on Metarian. So, you know, still, you know, huge shout out to Ra for making it. He did well. He played well. Gun goes burr, I guess. I think I really was hoping for Light Galaxy to win it. I mean, really, we were hoping for Elemental Heroes to win it, but other than that, like, Metarian's getting a little bit too good is how we're kind of feeling about it right now. So what we're going to do now is, I guess we're going to take a quick look at the stats. That's kind of what I want to take a quick gander at. So what we're first going to do is we're going to do this. Yes, we're going to do this. So from that tournament, we can see, we'll just get this out of the way, so we have to look at it. We can see Metarian 1, Light Galaxy, Metarian, E-Hero, Metarian, Warrior Fusion, Metarian, and the Mystery Deck. So with that, bearing in mind, these results specifically are only since Divine Genesis Blade, right? So what we also could do is take this and jump over to the Go Rush section. We'll just drop it in there. I don't even know if that copied properly. Oh, I can't because it's on here. Okay. Right, we'll do it over here quickly. And we'll just watch it happen as the magic happens. So we'll get these out the way. Come over here, drop that in there. So with this information piled in, we can now see all of the information based on the last, basically the whole format. Because although we did get a new box, it barely changed anything, right? Realistically. So we'll just go ahead and rearrange these. And we can see Metarian is just, it's performing so well. Like, it's performing actually disgustingly well. Heroes are unironically my best performing deck. I don't know how. But one of your hero games, I believe, was like up here, right? It was like your second place deck. And I think the primary other decks you've been playing was like Worms, right? And Worms has some really dominant matchups if it like draws well, but also eh. My top is Machine Good Stuff. I have been performing well on Light Galaxy, Cyber Dragons, and I guess Matarian Noodles are like my 3 best. So like Worms are kind of... I think that's the weird thing with this meta, is I feel like if you play a deck that's good into Galaxy, it's really shit into Matarion. If you play a deck that's good into Matarion, it's really shit into Galaxy. And I feel like there's no way around that. No matter what, you're being shit into something. Into any Tribute to the Doom deck. Well, Tribute to the Doom deck is Tribute to the Doomed. I feel like my opponent didn't throw the games were kinda unwinnable. It's a weird one. I've played quite a few games of Worms myself in like point battles, and I felt like the games where I won, I was like unstoppable. And the games where I lost felt... So the big thing for me was, I think it's like Sora said, Tribute to the Doomed absolutely shuts Worms down so hard. Because you make this big guy, and you have like 3 back row to protect it, and then your opponent goes Tribute to the Doomed, and you're now sat there like, okay, I could just die right now, and there's nothing I can do about it. And a lot of the time, you kind of want Excavator to come out, and then have it stabilize for you. You want just a turn of breathing room, where you get to say, all right, I get to draw a brand new hand of 5 cards, and I can start setting back row, I can start getting ready for, a new fusion, I can start just... stabilize and get ready for future plays, but you don't get to necessarily do that. But yeah, we're seeing Matarion is by far the best performing deck. We've seen 13 tournament wins, 41 top 4 positions, 117 top 4 points. Like, this is actually disgusting. It's still not quite double like Galaxy, but like Galaxy has been on the rise as well. And Cyber Dragon's been slipping, right? Realistically, Cyber Dragon has not been performing as well as it did at the start. Like, at the beginning of this format, like, if we take a look up here, Cyber Dragon, Cyber Dragon, Cyber Dragon, Cyber Dragon, Cyber Dragon, like, it's winning everything. Then you get down here, Cyber Dragon, like, is barely in any of these. Like, it's still getting some tops, it still did win a tournament, but it was a Cloudy City one. Actually crazy how the whole old meta got power crept. I mean, it is. I mean, if we take a look at Transcendence Mirror Geas, like, Psychic was the best performing deck, right? It was performing the best by quite a bit. And now if we take a look at where Psychics are, I mean, they're still okay. Like, it's still a top 5 deck, but it's just nowhere near its dominance it used to have. I suppose it's just the power of fusions. Well, I suppose every deck here is a fusion deck, at least the top 4, except like Galaxy, right? So we've got fusion deck, fusion deck, fusion deck, space, fusion deck, fusion deck, fusion deck. And Warrior Fusion's also at a bit of a weird spot because this has only had like a couple weeks. I tried Cyberse, and it was the best, which was the best deck, and it feels so bad into Matarion Galaxy. Yeah, but you need to God Hand to have a chance versus the top 2 decks. I mean, basically, Light Galaxy is a deck that will just kind of... If they get a reasonable hand, which is, again, not difficult to do, because they need to find one of their 6 level 7s, and they need to find one of their 6 spell cards, that being 3 copies of Meteor Charge and 3 copies of Secret Order. They're basically off to the races. So you have a 70% chance to open one of those cards. So it's 2 70%, and then you have basically a good hand. I know you have the spreadsheet and pie chart and stuff from the other day. I didn't draw Fusion until turn 6, so Matarion isn't good. I mean, basically, there was a... Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can... I should have sent... I think I sent it to Manicist. So if I go to our chat history... I should be able to find it there. Here we go. So this is the game that I always think back to. This was a game where we had 7 cards left in deck. We had used our Imaginary Reactor to put Monster Reincarnation on the bottom. And all 3 of our fusions were in the next 6 cards of our deck. And we just couldn't play the game. We literally were like, we are playing 1400 vanilla turbo. That is it. And but you can't see it here because we cropped it off. But we're staring down an Ancient Gear Golem. So there is nothing we could do. This game was like, Konami wanted us to lose this game. There was no winning. Do people still play Galactica Force in like Galaxy? So some people do. And Galactica Force is really good in exactly the mirror. That is where it really shines. So if you think you're going to be in the Light Galaxy mirror, it's still very important to play it. But typically we've seen like one copy of it now. Will there be a dual room to play? Probably not today. I mean, never say never. We might do one right at the end, but not right now at the very least. The lists from tournaments, no, but some people use that. Well, the list that we're doing well at the very start, so like this Light Galaxy, this one, and I think these two. So like the ones that were like very early when Light Galaxy was performing quite well, they were playing the pure version with like all of the normal monsters, and they were playing like the triple Galactica Force and only one copy of Meteor Charge. But pretty much after then, everything down here is basically not playing it. Well, you know, like some people play like one copy. Crash Bandicoot OST mentioned. Exactly. Go Galactic. How can I participate in the next tournament? I'm new here. So that tournament that we were just watching was a Japanese tournament that's held at the same time every Thursday. There should be another tournament on today, if Quantum decides to run it, that starts in around 8-ish hours, 7-8 hours. So there's that one. So it depends like what's better for your time zone, really. But depending on which one it is, there'll be different places to go. If it's going to be a Western tournament, it will almost certainly be held on start.gg, which is a different website. If it's a Eastern tournament, it will probably be on Tonemel, because that's how they like to do it. Yeah, in 7 hours. There we go. But again, it depends if he actually runs it, because he's been running them at weird days, but I think that's because of like Cloudy doing big events and stuff, so he's been moving them around. So we'll have to see where that goes. Light Galaxy, still second best performing deck, 73 points, 5 tournament wins. Still hasn't actually got to to Cyber Dragon yet, but I think there is a big reason for that, and that is that Metarian keeps winning. If Paco didn't win the Grand Prix, we would have just had another Metarian win. I mean, this week he didn't do Rush yet, so I guess yeah, I would assume he would, but I don't want to promise someone there's going to be a tournament later today and then there not be a tournament, right? So I'm just covering my own base. Warrior Fusion has only won one tournament, and it was like the night they came out, so people didn't really know how to play against them. I personally think Warrior Fusion is not performing as well as we would expect. Quantum Rush today. There he is. There's the man of the hour. Quantum Cubes, the world champion, confirming that there will be a Quantum Rush today, which I am looking forward to. Wait, how the fuck did Paco win with machines? He won with machine good stuff. So it was, I wonder if we can actually find the list. I don't think it's going to be on DLM, because all of Grand's tournaments get... Go away. All of Grand's tournaments get, like, pushed back for whatever reason. No, it's not on it yet. Alas. Can we find it? Is the question. I don't think so, because this is going to be the last week one, right? Yeah, this is the Metarian one. Can we be asked? I don't think we can. So basically, the list that Paco was playing was... It was, what was it? Triple Mirror Innovator with 2 copies of Jointech Rex. It played Ancient Gear Golem. And then it plays like a very small spell trap lineup. Quantum Pocket number 1. That's what we all really need. We need the Quantum Pokemon Pocket. Pokemon TCG Pocket Tournament. Sydra's a weird one, right? Sydra, again, performed really well at the start. And as since has been performing kind of badly. Like if we look at the tournaments since Divine Genesis Blade came out. Cyber Dragon's down here. Like, it's being outperformed by Machine Good Stuff, by Warrior Fusion. Like, I think as we go forward, and as we, like, start forgetting about these early results, I think that Cyber Dragon's going to start falling off more and more and more. Oh, and like Hammer Crush Deal. So, the skill he was on was actually the Jointech skill. That is, if you have Jointech Rex on the field, you can just create 2 Earth Machine monsters and throw them into the bin. And that's it. Because the whole point of the deck is you just play a load of cards that need you to have a crap ton of stuff in the graveyard. So you play Bicorn that shuffles 3 monsters to get treat as 2 tributes to get out an Innovator. Innovator obviously needs monsters to shuffle in. And you also play Jointech Rex that also needs 3 monsters shuffled in. So we just turbo the graveyard with Imaginary Reactor, with Essel, with stuff like that. Then we basically suck it all back into our deck using all of our different monster effects. The winner gets a bag of candy because the 31 October Halloween. I mean, it would be cool. I don't know how that's going to work with like sending that out, because if we're talking about the Quantum tournament, that would have to be mailed from Canada. So, do you have your own Yu-Gi-Oh card shop? I certainly do not. I certainly do not have my own Yu-Gi-Oh card shop. Dragon Fusion is, unfortunately, it started off okay. Unfortunately, just has not kept up. Psychic didn't really start well. It had like a little stint, like right here, where like it started doing okay, and then sort of fell off again. Spellcasters, I'm actually kind of amazed Spellcaster won anything, to be honest. Like, the Spellcaster deck just feels so underwhelming compared to like a lot of the other decks. And if you look, because of Giorfio's hero performance, heroes have almost overtaken Spellcasters now. Like, if Giorfio had won the tournament, heroes would have overtaken Spellcasters. So just think about that for a minute. Warrior Fusion's also doing fine. But when it comes to doing the tier list, so this was the tier list we came up with last time. I don't think this needs to be changed too much, to be honest. Like, I think this does need a little bit of updating. But like, as is, this is not too bad. Now, we've already seen that Metarion is doing so well, right? It's undeniable, I think, that Metarion is a tier above everything else. Realistically, nothing is touching this deck. Even the deck that's meant to counter it in the Light Galaxy does sometimes just get absolutely destroyed by Metarion. If anyone else starts playing Heroes, maybe it'll go up. I mean, I played Heroes a bit. We got a few top 8s. You know, we did okay. Quantum did okay with Heroes at one point, I think. It's weird how 7's got overperformed over Go Rush Era, even though it's early. I swear it's pretty good. Giorfio sent the list on Discord if you're curious. I see. So, again, I think Metarion's in its own tier. I don't think we can really argue that at this point. Metarion's just, it's up here. Light Galaxy is undoubtedly the second best deck. I mean, you could make an argument that, like, oh, Cyber Dragon has top 8'd more, or oh, Cyber Dragon's won more tournaments. But if we look at like overall performance, top 4s, Light Galaxy is dominating. Total points, Light Galaxy is dominating. Like, it's just performing so much better than Cyber Dragon. I almost want to drop Cyber Dragon down a tier, but I think out of respect for how well the deck has been doing, and the deck is still like okay, and Cyber Dragon actually has an okay matchup into the Light Galaxy deck itself, just because Cyber Dragon has some pretty good statted bodies. And Light Galaxy really takes advantage of you having like low defense or low attack by using the Meteor Charge. And if you don't have low attack or low defense, which again, to be fair, some of the bodies in Cyber Dragons do, right? If you have Avant Wolf, that's got 0 defense. If you have Crafter Drone, that's got 0 defense, right? Not every monster in this deck is going to be like perfect to deal with it, but it's still like an okay matchup into the Galaxy deck. So I do think Sidra does belong here. Then we got, again, Dragon Fusion and Psychic. I think the big question now, they can also pop the 2500. Exactly. The big question for me now is, Dragon Fusion is 6 ahead of Psychic in points for me. But the rest of these 3 are all kind of similar. So, do we do this? Do we have Dragon Fusion in its own tier in tier 3? Why is Candy still tier 3 though? Well, we are talking about that right now. So the reason it was because Dragon Fusion and Psychic used to be a lot closer, and Spellcasters and Heroes used to be a lot further behind. But as we've seen, they've kind of caught up a bit. I mean, if we go for power level, Psychics are probably lower. I mean, that's kind of how I see it. Like, if we were going entirely by tournament results, right, it would be, and then Hero and then Warrior Fusion. So Warrior Fusion is down here, so we, I don't know, slap this in here. So if we were going entirely by tournament results, it would be bam, bam, bam. Like maybe we put Light Machine and Machine Good Stuff. Then probably that. Like Worms have not been performing whatsoever. And Worms have been seeing play. They're just not winning. They're just straight up not winning. I think you can just come off the list now. Vulcan can probably come off the list. Like, is anyone even still playing Vulcan? At least people are still playing Meeg, so Meeg gets to stay on the list in Rogue. It's so weird. Like, do we just combine Light Machine and Machine Good Stuff? Because they're kind of the same deck. They use different skills, though. But a lot of the deck is the same. And if we were to combine the two into a single deck, it would suddenly be up here playing with the other big boys. But again, they do use different skills. They do use different skills. Maybe we do something like this. And we'll just keep them together, but like still have them as separate decks, but kind of be like, oh, they're kind of the same thing. Yeah, spellcasters are still such a weird one. I really don't... I don't think the spellcaster deck is like super good. But like, it is still like doing well. I mean, who's playing Ultimate Bomb right now? That is a good point. So originally it was Ursus. Ursus was playing it like, you know, this was Ursus. This was Ursus. I think this was Ursus. Like, Ursus was the Light Machine champion. But as you know, since that has kind of fallen away, so now Machine Good Stuff has kind of been taking the role. And we have seen, like, 3 different Machine Good Stuff lists in tournaments. Now, Spellcaster did well first few days just because it was new. I don't see it being tiered. I mean, yeah, like, its only tournament win was here. The biggest issue that it has, in my opinion, is just it sucks at getting through set 3 pass. If you had better ways to gain piercing in this deck, this would actually be quite a good deck. But like, having to rely on Witch to get any damage in sucks. And because so many people are playing higher defense monsters to try and deal with Galaxy, which is absolutely rushing them down, you get hit as like collateral, and Sevens just feels like ass because of it. Sevens Lance when? Oh, could you imagine? That is a card, though, by the way, that got limited. Like, that's how dangerous that card was. Could we have Sevens Lance? Could we have it? Is it even on here? Yep. So... Oh, no, not this one. We're thinking of the other one. What is the other one called? It's 7 something. It's still an equip spell. It's not the Sevens Lance. Where? Is it not this one? Doesn't one of them give piercing? Is it not Sevens? This one. Magical Lance. Not Sevens Lance. That's where we went wrong. I think it also has the same issue of Warriors of investing like 4 cards into a single fusion, which is what Dragons do as well, but at least their fusion is insanely good. Yeah, the whole point of the Dragon one is you want to just kill your opponent when you summon it, or at the very least get them incredibly low so you can finish them off the next turn. But this card would theoretically fix Spellcasters. Now, the downside is, 1, it's an equip spell, which means you have to just draw it on top of everything else. 2, we don't have equip spells yet, so we wouldn't get it, but... Equip it to a magical knight or spellcaster monster, gains 200 attack, and if it attacks defensive monster, inflict piercing damage. And if the equipped monster is a magical knight, it gains additional attack equal to its level times 200. So that would be an extra 1800. This would maybe be a bit too good, right? I don't know if it would fix it. The thing is, the deck is very consistent. It's very good at spamming monsters out onto the board. It's very good at making high attack boards. The skill needs to add it for free. The thing is, if the skill added this for free, wouldn't that be too good? Because the deck already makes like a 5300 guy. This basically gives it an extra 18. So you'd now make a 6100 piercer. Like, is that not too good? Would that not be completely busted? Like, if you purchase a 0 defense monster, and you're gone. I mean, either way. Either way. I'm not sure where I like this deck. I think it's worse than this. I think it's probably worse than these as well. Do we drop it down to Rogue? Realistically, it's not in the meta. Do we just take this off the list as well? That's the other question. Like, this could just be both, like Machine Good Stuff and Light Machine. I don't think they need to be separate decks. The fusion is still hard to make. So, kind of, right? The skill gives you a free +1, and there are so many ways to cheat Seven's Road Magician onto the field that I don't think it's actually that bad anymore. Now, I guess on the same level as Warriors or Psychics. I think the Warrior one is a bit more high investment because we don't have as many ways to cheat it out. In the Spellcaster deck, you're still going to play Witch and you're still going to play Sorcerer, and both of those cards can get it out a lot easier. Now, is it free? No. But is it easier than, like, just hard tribute summoning every time? Yeah. Also, Worms are not in this tier list. Yeah, we've got them down here to go into the tier list, because they weren't in the tier list before. But we're trying to just work out what we're doing with this first. But I guess first we'll start throwing them on. So we're going to want this, and we're going to want this. We probably don't need anything else. So I don't know exactly what we're going to do with these. I think we're quite happy to just have this represent all the machine decks. Well, other than, like, Cyber Dragon, right? That's kind of its own thing. These I'm quite happy to all be down here. We'll probably bump this up a bit, like, over Vulcan. I don't even know if Vulcan needs to be in Rogue anymore. Like, it might just come off the list entirely. I don't know where this deck's going to land for me. This deck has not performed at all in tournaments, but it's doing okay in point battles. Worms is a weird one. Where is Worms? Worms is down here. It's kind of performing around the same level as Vulcan. I almost think it should be in Rogue. Like, here, maybe? It feels so weird to bump this all the way down, but I don't know where this goes. On one hand, I think it's probably around, like, a tier 4 deck. Realistically, these are, like, the best decks in the meta. These are, like, the decks that can win tournaments. And arguably, it's only the top 3 that are actually going to be winning tournaments. Don't worry, Paco will bring Fire Dragons. I mean, I tried to play them in Grands, but I could only actually play 2 rounds, then I had to, like, drop out of the tournament. So, it is what it is. We did win a game with them, though, which we were quite happy with. What is Volcano Attack Dragon? So, Volcano Attack Dragon. Is there, like, a good way to, like, find the list? Where did I guess it was point battles. I guess if we go over to Nanao's, we can just show it off very easily. So we'll come over here quick. This just seems like the easiest way that I can think to grab the list. So not there. This is it. This is the list. It's this sort of deck. So the objective is resolve Dragonic Pressure, discard 3 dragons, wipe the board. Activate Secret Order, bring back Volcano Dragon as a 3000 attack guy. Use the skill, grab the Bakrohei. Use the Bakrohei, ideally hit trap card. The skill will also boost Volcano up to 36. And then either we activate another Secret Order to bring out another one, or we just summon 2 big attack guys and kill our opponent. That is the objective. We ideally OTK, but you don't need to OTK, right? That's the idea behind this deck. Worm is performing way better than Vulcan. I mean, we can statistically look at the list, right? Like, Vulcan made top 4 twice. Wait, are we? Worms did twice, right? Yeah, Worms are on it twice. Oh, it's because they only did it top 4. Yeah, so Worms are performing, like, I mean, even in top 8, they got the same results. In top 4, Vulcan is still performing better. Like, again, if we go by the beginning of Go Rush, technically Vulcan is still performing better. If we go by this, I don't think either of them are even on it, are they? No, neither of them have seen it. We've also got E-Hero on here. We're going to have to update this as well. Which we can do by doing this. Do that. We do that. We do that. Okay. Didn't Solomon get 2 finals in Quantum? I mean, we can have a look and see if it's on the list. Hopefully this is accurate. There was 1 final in Quantum. The Quantum Rush before that was all Metarium, but there was a worm over here. So we've had these 2 worms, which have made top 8. But I believe, according to this, unless this is incorrect, we've only had 1 worm make it to top 4. Whereas Vulcan, we had 2 make top 4. I don't know where those Vulcans are. There's 1 up here, and there's 1 here. So very, 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 very early on in the format. But yeah, like we said, we've already got worms up here, and we've got Vulcan all the way down here, so... you're still taking into consideration data from Primatarium. So one thing we will say, as well, is... Although you are right, this is Primatarian, but this Metarian win was also still Primatarian, right? Like, Metarians were always out, but we had to use Spearhead Draw. Like, this is pre-Yuhi, or not Yuhi, Uo. This is pre-Uo, but, like, Metarian still got a win, because I was in the finals. This is me on Dragon Fusion, and this was Firefox playing Metarian in the finals, and he absolutely destroyed me. Absolutely destroyed me. Yeah, I kind of want to leave this in tier 4. I kind of want to. Wait, wasn't that me? When? This wasn't you. This was definitely me versus This was me versus Firefox in the finals here. Because I sent him a message in on our Fangirls Discord. I sent him a message telling him, what the hell have you created? This is Magnum Overlord 2.0. But. The question is there anything we would change on this tier list? Is there anything that anyone in chat sees that is, like, grossly in the wrong place? Like, just completely should not be where it is? Me versus Manicus for Starry Cup. Am I getting it mixed up with something else? Oh, no, mine was in... Are you sure? Let me check this out. Let me check this out. I'm gonna look this up now. You are right. That was you. Where was me versus... That would have been in a... Ah, that was the Yaden Cup one then? That I was playing the Cyber Dragon deck? Let me have a look quick. Yaden... Yaden Cup 3. Standings. Brackets? Where am I looking? Bracket top 8? No, that wasn't even me. Where was it? Where was it where I played against Thingy in the finals? Where was it? Yeah, I'm sure I lost a Spearhead Draw. Spellcaster's in tier 4, and yeah, Worm deserves a tier 4. I discovered the secret ancient tech of the Nail Hedgehog, now the deck called Skyrocket Trust. Why would you play that instead of Fortitude Dragon? I mean, it's minus 500, but who cares? Maybe minus 500. Where was this? Was it in top 4? Maybe it was this? No? I was playing Cyber Dragons. Where was it? I mean, it doesn't really matter. The point is, so everyone's saying they think that Worm should be bumped up. That's what people are saying. That's what people are saying. We also have some comments for Spellcasters to get moved up also. Discovered the sea. It's because of the skill locking you into Earth Machines, Georfio. I think that's what he's getting at. think Worms is rogue at best. See, this is where we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Right. I know the difference between tier 4 and rogue actually is. So, realistically, just think of this as just like tier 5, right? That's just the easiest thing. So, these are the best decks in the game, right? We know Metarian is, and then it's these two, and then it's Dragons. That's all locked in. We know they're the best decks in the game. So then it's like, what decks could perform well at a tournament, but aren't going to win the tournament most of the time? That's kind of the next thing. Like, these decks could win a tournament. They can win a tournament. They're probably not going to win a tournament. And then 5 is like, these will show up, and people will play them, but they're probably not going to win, and they have, like, some really good matchups, and that's kind of it. Because to be honest, we should just have 3 decks on top, and then a bunch of other decent decks on the same tier. But we already know these are like the 4 best ones, right? I think that goes without saying. I kind of like having them spread out though, because I think there is something to be said for like some of the decks being better than others. The issue is it doesn't make a lot of sense to have Dragon Fusion 1 tier above all the others. I think this deck outperforms the rest of these decks. That's why it's there. I don't really want to just have like a massive tier 3. And I think statistically, the numbers match that as well, right? Like, it's not a huge jump, but there is a jump between Dragon Fusion and Psychic. So I do think that Dragon Fusion does deserve to be a tier higher. That's how I look at it anyway. I think I'm going to put this back down at the very least. I mean, realistically, everything in tier 4 and 5 is just like bad decks, right? I mean, we don't see a lot of dragons now, though. I mean, you're not wrong, but we don't see a lot of anything other than these 3 decks. Like, we still see the other decks. You got to remember as well, Jorfio, that when I make these tier lists, they're for videos, right? And the videos typically are watched by a lot more casual players. So what a casual player wants, basically, is what can I play on the ladder and what's going to feel like okay, right? And for casual players, seeing the deck that they play down here is quite a big thing. Like, they get excited to see their own, like, one-trick deck or whatever show up on the list. So even if it's not super relevant to, like, the high-end players, realistically, if you're a high-end player, you're probably not watching my content anyway. That's kind of how we look at it. I see more Worms than Sidra and Dragon. Where? Where are you seeing this quantum? You talking about, like, on ladder? Because, like, we have the numbers of top 8. Yeah, no, I'm not saying remove all the decks. In my tourneys, top 8? I mean, right, yes. Right, Quantum Rush, we had, what? We had Worm and Worm. And then if we go to the other one, we had a Worm there. So we've had 3, right? If we look at Dragons, specifically just for Quantum Rush, none there. None there. I mean, one there. And there's one there as well. Yeah, if we look at specifically Quantum Rush tournaments, there have been 2 Dragons to 3 Worms. So what you're saying is not incorrect, right? There are more Worms than there are Dragons. And recency bias as well. As we've gotten more and more recent, yes, Worms have been showing up more than Dragons. WoW at 1 pre-Metarian? Well, up here it did, yeah. But if we're talking about, like, pre-Metarian, like, it won here, which is after Metarian. Quantum, it won in your tournament! After Metarian! Time to enter Quantum Rush with Dragons to prove it's still good. I will get first rounded. I mean, Dragons is fine. Like, I still think Dragons is, like, an okay deck. The problem is, this deck can beat this deck, right? It can beat this deck. Will it always beat this deck? No. This deck can beat this deck. Will it always beat this deck? No, because you have to build the deck. Why is it real if I don't remember it? Well, if you don't remember it, it just didn't happen. The biggest issue Dragons has, in my opinion right now, is If you build it to beat Metarian, it loses to Galaxy. If you build it to beat Galaxy, it loses to Metarian. But if you do build it in a specific way, typically it will be able to win its matchups. But the big caveat there is it will still lose to the other one, and you can't guarantee you're only going to play against one of these decks. So that's why this is down a tier. It's like Sidra. Realistically, Sidra could probably be down here. I feel the same about Heroes. Yes, I also do agree with you, Quantum. Heroes does have some pretty good matchups. The only reason I'm not putting Heroes any higher is literally, again, going by just bias of tournament results. Like, that is literally the only reason. If Heroes performed a little bit better in tournaments, I would move it up the list, but it's just not been performing as well. And that's down to a bunch of different factors, right? What did Heroes queue into? What type of tournament was it? What was very popular during that event? What build of Heroes were you playing? How popular is Heroes? If people aren't playing it, obviously it cannot perform better. So there's all these different factors, but I'm still always going to have a bias towards the data. So your tier would be Rogue, tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. I mean, basically, like, these are 4 and 5 don't really need to be in separate tiers, really. If I build Hero to beat Metarian, I lose to Galaxy. Yeah, that's how I feel about, like, a lot of the meta right now. Like, a lot of these decks feel the same, where if you're playing against Galaxy, you have to have, like, you know, you want Slime, you want Negate Attack, you want high defense monsters, you want ideally not low attack monsters. If you're playing against Metarian, you don't really give a shit about your monster stats, and you kind of want to not play Slime, and you also want Widespread. So, like, it's so weird. Sidra in 3, I feel, is better. I also agree. I think I do prefer this in tier 3. Okay, then, so Spellcasters. Got it. Tier, yeah, maybe tier 1 and 2 is just the best 3, and then tier 3 might be all the decks that are still seeing some tops, and tier 4 are the disappeared ones. I don't know, I really think these decks are just outperforming everything else so much. I kind of like them being in their own tiers. So I've got it. Alright, I know, right? I still see the deck as tier 3. Why don't you beat the best deck? Don't you want to beat the best deck? No, just never beat the best deck. Don't worry about that. To be honest, I just lose to Galaxy and win versus Metarian, even if I build full anti-back row. Sidra 3 feels better, just because I always draw better against Metarian, and because it's easier to misplay with Metarian. Yes. Although I have seen people misplay on Heroes, and every time I'm like, how have you managed this? This seems like it would be difficult to actually mess up, but you've somehow found the way. Interesting. Metarian tier 1. Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought? I think at some point it just becomes like personal preference, right? Like, it's like some people will do like tier 1, tier 1.5 and stuff like that. I don't like doing that personally. I mean, what has been topping recently? Like, let's look at top 4s. We've got Warrior Fusions, which does... I mean, this one's more legit than these ones, I feel. Machine Good Stuff. Cyber Dragon E-Hero. Maybe we bump Psychic down a bit. Psychic hasn't really... Like, when's the last time Psychic got a top 4 finish? Is it literally when it won? Oh, it's here. So, 3 weeks ago. Hasn't really done anything in 3 weeks. What about top 8 finishes? We've got one there. I think we can bump Psychic down a bit. I think that'd be fine. Well, it's not about misplays, but I think it's not very obvious to realize the hero game plan. It plays a lot like Noodles, so you need to go super defensive, which is something most decks don't do. Well, I will say that people still... It's one of the big reasons Metarian is such a pain, is if your deck can't go defensive, you just die. And like, so this is why Sidra can really struggle into Metarian, because the Sidra way to go defensive is like, summon Cyber End, hope it doesn't die, question mark, question mark, question mark, profit, right? That's kind of the Cyber Dragon game plan into Metarian. Or you just throw caution to the wind, YOLO rush them down, and just hope that you kill them really, really quickly, which you just don't do as well as Galaxy. Royal Rebels is nowhere to be seen, sadly. Yeah, I think that's what I still want to keep it on the list, because I feel like it's always looming, ready to come back. but like, is it actually going to come back? Yeah. Maybe we bump this down. This hasn't actually seen any tournament results yet. Maybe we'll just chuck it down here till it actually does something in a tournament. Warrior Fusion is tier 4. How? Well, because it's not really doing anything, unfortunately. Royal Rebel is very slow, unfortunately, and even versus aggressive decks like Galaxy, it doesn't feel good. Yeah, Royal Rebel kind of feels like if you still draw the God Hand, it feels okay. And I guess Royal Rebel's against something like Metarian. If Metarian doesn't absolutely God Hand you and just like, you know, start bullying you immediately on turn 1, I feel like Royal Rebels has probably an okay matchup there. Like, not a good matchup, but like an okay matchup. Miss Mutton have better results than anything in tier 5, no. Well, I mean, we can go and take a look, right? So Mutton is down here. So it is outperformed barely by Cyberse. It is outperformed by Vulcan. Vulcan! I mean, if we take a look at just since Divine Genesis Blade came out. Where is it? It's up here. There you go. By that logic, it's better than all these decks. I think we probably take Vulcan off the list now. I think Vulcan hasn't done anything in so long. We just get rid of it. I'm also going to take Rebels off the list. Again, we've had this meta for so long and they just aren't doing anything. Okay, but recently? I mean, let's take a look. So this is very, very recent. If we expand the search a little bit. I mean, where's Spellcasters? Spellcasters is basically the same as Mutton. Worms haven't done anything. When's the last time Worms did anything, actually? When is the last time Worms did anything? Worms have top 4'd one time. Where was the Worm? Oh, we're in the wrong format. There we go. This is better. Set him with a Control F Worm. Okay, so just before the set came out, they did get second place in Quantum's meme tournament. So, you know, there's that. Last Quantum. Yeah, there we go. Jorfio's got it. I mean, we have to put at least a little bit of respect on that. And it also did get a top 8 finish in that same event. Then we have to leave Worms up here. Meme tournament. I know how to say all the right things. Worm gained a very good matchup in Warriors. I think that's fair. Worm is just in such a shitty position right now, where I feel like this deck gets to beat it up, and this deck gets to beat it up. But, like, it does okay against this deck. I also think this deck kind of beats it up. But, like, Worm, I feel like, is okay into, like, Cyber Dragons. It's okay into Warriors. It's okay. It's kind of okay into some hero builds. It depends how you build heroes. Like, it has some okay stuff going on, but, like, its defense values are just too small, and it doesn't really do anything outside of make a big board. So, like, you have to rely on the max to just beat a defensive board. It does surprisingly decent into Metarian. I feel like Metarian just gets to look at it and be like, well, I'm just gonna, if you summon out a big board, I'm just gonna, like, spin half of it away, or I'm just gonna, like, OTK you with gun. Or I'm gonna, like, do anything. Metarian just feels like it has so many outs to everything it does. I like how you keep using Yggdrago when you say Worm. You're right. It's because I'm actually talking about Cyberse, but yeah, Worm is up here. There we go. I actually was confusing the two myself. Because you still want to put them on a clock? Yes. I was thinking about Cyberse. Worm, yes. Worm, I think, does have a good matchup into Metarian. That was just me being stupid again. Which, again, that's the 5th time on the stream today. It happens a lot, okay? We're going to have to get a little counter on the stream of when I say something really stupid. Yeah, I think Worms is, like, pretty okay into Metarian. But I think that's almost why Worms are, like, okay right now. It's just because they're okay into this. Like, if you don't get, like, Excavator early, or if your opponent just finds Tribute to the Doomed, the Galaxy will absolutely demolish Worms. Last time was when you called Quantum Tourney meme. I don't know about that one, Quantum. You know, maybe if Worms stop performing well in your tournament, Quantum, maybe then. Well, actually, back to Cyburst then. When's the last time Cyburst did well? Because that's what we were actually trying to find out. I was just being stupid. So we'll do a Control F. Cyburst. They got top 8 there. I mean, do we just like... Do we do this? I don't hate this. Yeah, Cyburst has issues against Meteor from Galaxy and Gun from Metarians. But Quantum, look, if we go to the recent tournaments, Cyburst got a top 8, but so did Mutton. They're basically the same power level. Basically the same power level. I think we still put it lower than this. I do think, as much as it's kind of untested in tournaments, I do think this is probably fine. Okay, now put the Fire Dragon behind Idrago. Do you want the Fire Dragon behind Meeg? Is that what you really want? Move Cyburst back over Mutton now. We've already done it. You're in the past. I really think this deck has some potential. But it's unproven. It's unproven potential. I can change that to Rogue as well. I just like having Rogue on there. Fire Dragon's above both of those decks, though. So, my gut, Parko, tells me that's correct. But. The only thing we have to go by is point battles. And point battles are so unreliable. Like, as we can see over here, like, this one got, where did it finish? He went 9-2, finished in 4th place, right? So, it did okay here. But, like, it's a point battle. And point battles kind of don't mean anything, right? It's can you win quickly? A lot. That's what a point battle tests. It's still, like, not irrelevant information, but it's not concrete enough. It's not a good enough source, in my opinion. What tier is Noodle Metarian? Realistically, I don't even separate the two. I just put them all as one deck. But I would think, if we were to count Noodles as their own deck, like Noodle Metarian, I would have it like, I don't know, like here somewhere. Somewhere around here, probably. That's where I would put it. But I don't think I'm going to put it on the... I don't think I'm going to have it on the tier list as its own thing. I mean, 9-2 is a good record. It is. But what does that mean? Right? If you went and took a deck on the ladder and went 9-2, does that mean it's a good deck? It's so hard to gauge when it's not in a tournament setting. He farmed the same Dragis over and over. It doesn't count. That's the thing. That could be true. We don't know. We can't say that didn't happen. I've played in many a point battle where I've just queued into the same person again and again and again and again and again. Some of these point battle decks though, right? Because like this guy came 12th, right? This guy just came 12th. And this is what he was playing. This deck got 12th at the point battle. Now obviously 12th is not, you know, a top 5 finish, so we don't really care about it. But if you queue into this, you're probably going to win a lot more games, right? Better than an 8-3 deck. I mean, that is true. That is very true. Very, very true. But, like, yeah, some of these decks are, like, a big ha, right? It's just like... Oh, where did this one finish? This finished 15th, and it was just a generic Psychic list. This is what I mean. Point battles are really hard to gauge from the results, because people play weird shit. There it is again. Now, this one's playing Beta Burn, though. I don't like this build as much, personally, but... what we got there? Here's a weird deck. So this deck entered... Let's see how well it did. Did he say we got? No, he didn't say where it actually finished. But this was in the point battle. Guy was low-key cooking. Beta Burn is such a beta. The only issue I have with Beta Burn is it doesn't have any defense value. And I don't like the 0 defenders because they get absolutely donked on by Galaxy. But it's like, you know, if this deck was in it, so if, like, would you just farm this deck? Fun guaranteed. Me when I face Matarion with this. Strength not guaranteed. Exactly. It's it's weird. It's so... This is what I mean though, right? Because it's like sometimes you'll get like someone will like top a tournament. They'll be in like the finals or something, or like the top 4. And then you'll look at their bracket all the way through like a singular limb. And it's like they played against meme deck, meme deck, meme deck. And then their like opponent didn't show up. And it's like, do you deserve to be in top 4? Like, statistically, you're now on the spreadsheet. Should you be here? That's a whole other question, right? Reactor Engine in Hero is good. I mean, Reactor Engine full stop is good, right? Like, there's nothing like bad about the Reactor Engine. But yeah, it's just one of those weird things where when we take a look at some of these lists that are topping, like this one. Now, you might not recognize what's weird about this list. I mean, there isn't really anything weird about this list. This isn't the list I thought it was. It's just kind of a generic hero list. Where was it? Like, this one was Warriors, but playing the Semi-Ruler. Yeah, if you want any weird ideas for decks, this is a great place to look. Spellcaster Fusion, but playing the Dark Swords. I'm not sure why we're playing Dark Swords, but we're playing Dark Swords. Definitely something wrong about that hero. I mean, yeah, but like there was a list I saw the other day that was a lot more strange. And I was trying to find that one, but I don't know where it is. That's just Ice Sark. There you go. There's an Ice Sark list. Got 23rd or 23rd. There's a lot of Dark Magician players in here as well. Another Ice Sark list. More Volcano Dragons. More Dark Magician. No, I can't find it. I'm not going to like keep looking forever. But like there was a hero list that didn't play any of the vanilla heroes. And it was like, what? These PBs are also when Nanao started playing his pure Yggdrago and almost clapped us in war. I mean, yeah. He never bricked until the last game. It was a shame. Yeah, I mean, Nanao's like still a good player, right? Obviously, when we lost, it was to... Who was it? Was it Rafuta on Royal Rebels, and it was Moki Moki on Noodles, I think. All right, let's try and finish off this tier list. Let's finish off this tier list rather than get more distracted. So Parker wants this moved up. I think I'm going to leave this down here for now. I also want to take this off because I don't really want that on there. Is the rest of this fine? I think Warriors is still good, but they're not like crazy. Heroes, again, can be really good. Machines in general are quite good. Psychics. I'm actually thinking maybe about moving these two around. Like, Psychics haven't done anything in a while. Fool, fool, fool. Predapant, Orchest. What a shame. From YouTuber. What? What are you talking about, Kim Friend? What are we talking about right now? Alright, am I happy with this tier list? Am I content? I think Matarion should be in its own tier. I think Galaxy should be in its own tier. I think I'm quite happy with these two being down here. I think realistically Sidra is performing a lot better than Dragons, but both of them are so meh compared to the two above, I don't think it really matters. He blames me for Loom making an Orcust video. Why is that your fault, Quantum? What? How possibly? Did you commission the video? Are you like Loom's gonna be like 2 minutes into the video? This video was sponsored by Quantum Cubes. Well, I think I'm happy with this. I think I'm happy with this. I think we don't touch anything else. What's the biggest change here? Like, this came all the way down. That's probably like the biggest change. I'm responsible for every Orcus player in existence. Well, to be fair, you did teach me how to play the deck properly. At least the Duel Links version. So, you know, it's your fault I play Orcus. Kind of. Alright. I think that is going to do it for the tier list. And based on the fact it's only 20 minutes till we usually end the stream anyway, I think we're probably just going to end the stream. Because I don't really want to start like a 20-minute duel room. I don't want to like just queue ladder for 20 minutes. It doesn't really seem worth it. I would rather just go and get some food, sort myself out, and be able to have more evening for myself. So I think we're going to call that there for today. We will be back again on Tuesday with more. I'm not sure what we're going to do on Tuesday. We'll either be playing some of the weird new decks. There's still a few decks we haven't played. We still haven't played Cointech. There's a few others that we still haven't touched. As well as we do want to play some Speed at some point. But we haven't played Speed in a long time. But, you know, we could just not play Speed until Lyrilusc is gone. And there's a KC Cup coming up. So we could just hold off and play Speed after that's happened. When hopefully it gets hit. But that could be like a whole nother month away. So I'm not really sure if we want to do that. And I do want to play some Speed at some point. But we will be back again on Tuesday. We did start an hour earlier today because we wanted to start with the Angel Cup and they haven't been hit with the Daylight Savings yet. So we will probably be playing again later anyway. But play. The problem with Speed for me, Jorfio, is we basically just play Fluffle, right? So it's not like we can like mix around and play all these different decks. And unfortunately for us, Lyrilusc just is a really annoying deck for Fluff. I mean, it's a really annoying deck for a lot of things. Like, it's really annoying for a lot of rogue decks, realistically. So that's the only reason we haven't been on it. But that is going to do it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.